Hey everyone, it's Amia Khan here with your Fox 10 News Now update. Hope you had a wonderful lunch break or snack break or whatever it is you do between the morning and afternoon editions of Fox 10 News Now. Those of you who joined us this morning, welcome back. And those of you who are new to the afternoon edition of News Now, welcome to this 2:30 edition of Fox 10 News Now. It is Wednesday, July 22nd. We have a packed show ahead for you guys. One of the big talkers this morning on the morning edition of News Now was that dash cam video of Sandra Bland's traffic stop. Now, Sandra Bland is the woman who was found dead in a Texas jail cell. Really controversial. Yesterday we learned that her death was being treated, not her death, but rather the investigation into her death was being treated as a homicide investigation. That does not mean that she was murdered, but there are differing accounts as to how Sandra Bland died. Authorities in the jail are saying that Sandra Bland hung herself, that she killed herself, committed suicide. Meanwhile, her family is saying otherwise. Very controversial topic. I chatted with Troy Hayden a few minutes ago. He'll be joining me around 2:40 today. We'll be breaking down that arrest video, that traffic stop video, and we'll be talking with you, reading your comments, and answering any questions in regards to that. Moving on, I do want to give you guys an update. I know that I hadn't talked about it here on News Now at all, but maybe Kinsey spoke about it with you guys in the evening, or maybe you guys saw it on Fox 10 News, the story about missing Zachary. So Zachary, local guy, I think from Gilbert, had been missing, this teenager, and there was a search for him, and it turns out his parents called this morning and Zachary was indeed located. He reached out to his parents. I think he was calling from a nearby hotel. Let me just get the facts right. That's right. The family called us this morning at 6:30 to say that Zach called them from the Sheraton at Wild Horse Pass, and that is where they picked him up. Family saying, or not the family, rather, they didn't call us. Let me rephrase this. He didn't call us. They called Gilbert Police Department, and like the Gilbert Police Department know, and the Gilbert Police Department then told us, according to this press release from the Gilbert Police Department, we are glad he was found safe and is in good health. An officer will be making contact with the family shortly and removing Zach from the national database of missing children. So, if you don't know that story, it was a story that I believe, was it Mark that was on it, or Nicole? Nicole was on this story yesterday, and I did clip the video. I was going to play it this morning before I realized that Zachary had been found. Now that I've given you this background info about, well, now that I've told you the end result that Zachary was found, I feel like I should share with you the background info in case you missed the story to begin with. And so now it's interesting to kind of go back and watch, knowing now that everyone's fears have been quelled because the boy has been now found. I don't know, sometimes I just like to go back and look at stories like this after knowing the end result.
Dean Reeves is living a parent's nightmare. He has no clue whether his son, 16-year-old Zach, is all right. He says there was no indication that Zach would take off without telling anyone. The last time he saw him was Sunday night at the family's home in Gilbert. The next morning, he was gone.
And checked his room at 10:30 and he's gone. We believe he left sometime between 12 to 8 o'clock.
Gilbert police say there are no signs of foul play so far and are working to find Zach.
But there are some suspicious circumstances, I believe, that he may not actually be a runaway, as he left his cell phone behind. He left his wallet with money in it behind. He left in a pair of Adidas flip-flops, not prepared for a long journey.
Family and friends met up Tuesday afternoon to embark on a community search effort. They made T-shirts with Zach's picture and information and passed out flyers at homes and businesses in the neighborhood.
We're looking for solid factual clues as to where Zach may be, who has seen him.
For now, all his family can do is search and wait.
Going on day 3, 72 hours, once clock hits midnight.
So that was the story that Nicole did yesterday. We did learn this morning, however, that Zachary had reached out to his parents and he has been found. So that is a happy ending to that story. Fortunately, it doesn't appear like any harm was done to Zach, and we actually saw a happy outcome with this story. So often we hear about these stories where a kid is missing, a teen is missing, parents are missing, and then it ends in a really tragic situation. So that was a very good update in regards to that. I see the crowd joining us, not the crowd, the chat room chiming in. I see a lot of people saying hi, so I just want to say hi to you guys. We have a lot of events going on. I see that there's some breaking news, lots of different feeds going on. In New York, there is an event right now. It's a rally against Iran having nuclear weapons. Then on another feed, I have Joe Biden in Los Angeles. I'm recording that right now. I'll probably play that for you a little bit later on. And then on another feed, I have a fire. So let's go to the fire, because the fire is very visual. You can see this house fire right here. Don't have any additional information right now other than there is a house fire that firefighters are currently fighting. I have just asked our assignment desk for some details, and it appears that this is a house fire out of the city of Philadelphia, and that is the update in regards to that. Again, guys, we are looking at live images of a house fire right now in Philadelphia, or just outside the city of Philadelphia. Meanwhile, in the city of New York, a rally is underway against nuclear weapons in Iran.
That the agreement cuts off every pathway to the bomb. Okay, let me therefore put on the record, the most authoritative voice. This is President Rouhani, who negotiated this deal with our tireless Secretary of State, John Kerry, and the five big powers plus Germany. This is President Rouhani speaking back in Tehran after the handshakes in Vienna. At first, the United States wanted us to be limited to 100 centrifuges. Now we will have 6,000. That's the United States, wanted restrictions to end some 25 years. Now it's 8. The United States, first said we could only have IR-1 centrifuges. Now we can have IR-6, 7, 8 advanced centrifuges. They said, that is the USA, that the heavy water plant at Iraq was to be dismantled. Now it will remain with heavy water under these conditions. That said, that is, the United States said, their nuclear plant in Fordo had to be closed. Now they will have 1,000 centrifuges there. Whatever we decide about the nuclear deal, we are letting the Iranian tiger out of the cage. We are ready to feed the beast by approving the release of $140 billion in frozen assets without any commitment on how it will be spent. What are we looking at? A day after Iran and the world power shook hands on this deal, Rouhani did a little bragging. No one can say Iran surrendered, he said. The deal is a legal, technical, and political victory for Iran. It is an achievement that Iran won't be called a world threat anymore. Hey, if that was their ambition, it was easy to make good. Stop encircling Arab states while inciting their Shiite populations. Stop menacing Israel with funding of your proxy Hezbollah installations.
Look who's joining me. It's Troy Hayden.
Hello.
Welcome. And you guys, we were just watching a little bit of that rally in New York against the nuclear weapons in Iran. I'm recording that, so we'll play the full thing a little bit later on. But I really wanted to get Troy up here for a big topic of the day. You guys got really heated this morning in the chat room when I played this video. I played this video for them about 4 times.
Oh, did you?
Over and over again. Yeah, I mean, it's almost, it's 2 minutes and 55 seconds long.
The key part of it.
Well, what they sent to us, right?
Oh, really? There's a whole raw one.
Oh, really?
There's a lot. Yeah, it's like 45 minutes long.
What?
Yeah, I just watched it for like 10 minutes over
No
there.
way.
Yeah.
This whole thing.
Yeah. And do they go off camera?
Yeah.
And they go on and on?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Well, we'll watch this one, and if you feel like we need to go to
2
the
minutes
raw
is
one.
no. I mean, it goes to show how long this whole struggle
Right.
happened. Did the second officer arrive in this one?
I never saw a second officer.
Okay, a second officer arrives, and she's a female, and then she's talking, and the woman is still arguing with them, and it goes on.
I'm glad I talked to you about this. I
Yeah.
only knew about this part of the video.
Should I send you a link?
Yeah, I mean, I could always play that.
Okay.
I mean, assuming that I have rights to play it.
You don't.
I'll have to ask
Oh,
Jeff.
that's true.
You
Yeah.
always have to ask Jeff. But I have
That's
rights
true.
to this.
Okay, good.
Fox National sent me this.
And for 2.5 minutes, you get the gist of what happened. It goes on longer.
Right,
on
and
the
I
other one
mean,
just saw.
these 2.5 minutes, you do hear key moments where you can hear it escalate. You can hear her being a little feisty, the officer getting a little intense when he says, "I'll light you up," I think was. Or,
Yeah.
You know, so they're both kind of going at it, at least in this 2.5 minute or almost 3 minute
Oh
clip.
yeah. And after watching this, and I watched it. I don't know, maybe 15 minutes long or whatever. But there's fault in both of these parties.
Right.
they both did stuff that they shouldn't have done. So are we going to watch it first, and we're going to break
We
it down?
can watch it first,
Okay.
yeah. Those of you watching, it looks like Hela's already saying, "Told you there was more to the story." So let's watch.
Where's my earpiece? Here it is.
You okay?
I'm waiting on you. This is your job. I'm waiting on you. What do you want me to
Oh,
do?
you seem very irritated.
I am. I really am. Because I feel like this crap is what I'm getting the ticket for. I was getting out of your way. You were speeding up, tailing me. So I move over and you stopped me. So yeah, I am a little irritated, but that doesn't stop you from giving me a ticket. So let's continue.
Are you done?
You asked me what was wrong and I told you.
Okay.
So now I'm done, yeah.
Okay. You mind putting out your cigarette, please, if you don't mind?
I'm in my car, but I have to put out my cigarette.
Well, you can step on out now.
I don't have to step out of my car.
Step out of the car.
Why am I-
Step
No,
out
you
of the
don't
car.
have- No, you don't have the right. You do
Step
not-
out of the car.
You do not have the right to do that.
I do have the right. Now step out or I will remove
I
you.
refuse to talk to you other than to identify myself. and
Step
talk to
out
you.
or I will remove
I am
you.
getting removed for a failure.
Step
to signal.
out or I will remove you. I'm giving you a lawful order. Get out of the car now or I'm going to
Calling my
remove
lawyer.
you.
And I'm calling my
I'm
lawyer.
going to yank you out of here.
Okay, you gonna yank me out of my car?
Get out.
Okay. All right.
25.
Let's do this.
Yeah, we're going to.
Yeah. Don't touch me.
Get out of the car.
Don't touch me. I'm not under arrest. You don't have the right to take
You
me out
are
of my
under
car.
arrest.
I'm under arrest for what?
2547 County FM 1098. Just
For what?
290. Send me another unit. Get out of the car.
Another unit FM 1098.
Get out of the car now.
Why am I being apprehended? You trying to give me a ticket
I
for
said
your
get
failure?
out of the car.
Why am I being apprehended? You
I'm
just
giving
opened
you a
my car
lawful order.
door. You just
I'm
opened
gonna
my car
drag you
door.
out of here.
So you threatening to drag me out of my own car.
Get out of the car.
And then you
I will
stop
light
me?
you up. Get out
Wow.
now.
Wow.
Get out of the
Really,
car.
for a failure to signal. You doing all of this for a
Get
failure
over
to
there.
Right, yeah. Yeah, let's take this to court. Let's do
Go
it.
ahead.
For a failure to signal. Yep, for a failure to signal.
Get off the phone.
On my school.
Get off the
I'm
phone.
not on the phone. You're about to break my wrist. Can you
Stop
stop?
it.
You are about
Stop moving. Stop now. Stop it.
Stop resisting, man.
If you would stop, and I would tell you. Around.
For a traffic signal.
You are
For a
yanking
fucking
around.
traffic signal.
When you pull away from
Right.
me,
Does
you're
this make you
resisting
feel real
arrest.
good? This make you feel real good, don't it? A female for a
right
traffic
here.
signal.
I got it.
For a traffic
I got it.
signal. I
I
know
got
that
it.
make you feel good, officer.
Go
Ain't
ahead.
seen
Take
it.
care of yourself.
I know it make you feel real good. You're a real man now.
I
You
got
just
it.
slammed me, knocked my head in the ground. I got epilepsy.
Good.
I hope I
Good.
Good. You should have thought about that before.
That's it?
Yeah, then it started
done?
replaying.
Oh, okay. Yeah, and so, we all just watched that. Hopefully you caught it from the beginning. But the extended version that I saw had another stop with just before this. So
Okay.
what this officer was doing, from what I gathered, is he was driving around this part of Texas, and he was giving out warnings for different things. And as a matter of fact, he was dealing with a young woman. I assume she's a young woman. She sounded young and said she was a
28.
student. No, not
Oh,
her.
okay.
The woman before he stopped.
Okay.
He stopped another woman. and I don't know exactly what he stopped her for, but he comes up to the car and he says, well, you know, you need to get your proof of insurance, have your dad email it to you or something, and I'm giving you a warning. And so, you know, what are you, a student here? How many classes you taking? Okay, well, listen, you don't want to do that anymore, so have a nice day. Very pleasant, done, gets back in his car and goes. Then the video's his dash cam, and he drives a little bit, and he pulls her over. And I kind of fast-forwarded to this stop, because I'm thinking, how many stops is he going to have on here?
Right.
And it started out what seemed to be pleasant enough. Obviously, she was not happy to get pulled over for something she felt was insignificant. She's claiming, and I don't know if you heard it on this, but she said that he came up behind her, so she moved over to the side, and when she moved over to the side, she didn't signal. It wasn't like she made a right, or, you know, that's kind of what I got
I
out of
don't
it.
remember hearing anything like that in this video.
Okay, so it must be in the other one. So basically what she's saying is, look, you came up behind me, and you came up behind me at a high rate of speed, so I pulled over to the side. And now you're telling me I didn't signal while I was moving over for you. Well, I wasn't making a turn, I was moving over.
Right.
And now you're pulling me over for not signaling.
For trying to be considerate of you, is I guess
Well, that's
her
what
argument.
she said. You know, but you know, the officer has the right to pull you over basically for almost anything they want to. I mean, they can say anything. Well, I thought maybe your tail light was out. Maybe I'm mistaken or whatever. I mean,
Right.
that's the reality of where we live in the United States. So she's not happy. And I don't blame her. I wouldn't be happy either.
But now she's not alive, so it's
Well,
this
I
video
mean-
has become like, I
But
guess, the evidence that
Right.
people are using.
She's coming into this, though, with some preconceived stuff. And I haven't followed this story super closely, but from what I understand, she's been fighting, not police brutality, but just basically the way you probably know more about it than I do. That they basically, she has a history of speaking out against things like this, the inequality, and thinking that police officers don't treat minority people the same way they treat white people. Is that correct?
An argument we've heard from a number of people, especially over the course of the last year, I
Right.
think starting with what happened in Ferguson.
Right. So, and she has worked on that. I don't know exactly what her profession is. But, so she comes into this with a whole bunch of notions and ideas, like everybody else does. You know, and like I've said a million times, I didn't grow up in the projects. I grew up a white kid in the suburbs. So my interaction with police officers, I believe, is probably way different from somebody who I just talked about, somebody who may be in the projects and somebody who may have darker skin or whatever, you know.
Right.
Their interactions with police officers, just from their background and the way they grew up, is different than mine. I, personally, wouldn't act this way towards a police officer if I were pulled over.
Right.
I'm a yes sir, no sir, what did I do? Because basically what I'm trying to do is get out of there without any punishment.
Right.
I think when this thing goes south, and I think everybody can see when this goes south, is when he walks up and says, well, you seem to be agitated. And I think she could have said, and she did, yeah, well, I'm agitated because of this. You pulled me over for something I just don't think is that great, and, you know, that's why I'm agitated. He goes like, well, okay. He got a little annoyed with that, could you tell? And right away, he wants her to put her cigarette out.
Like he needs to show his authority.
Right. And I believe, and this is the way I'll say it, is you're not going to win in this situation if you're not the police officer.
Right.
You're not going to win in this situation. Now, down the line, you may win when you go to court, when you tell your side of the story, when if something really bad happens and the whole community riots or whatever, then people come to your. But in this instant, in the instant you're sitting in your car with the officer leaning in saying, get out of your car, you're not going to win that argument.
You don't fight your battle there on the street.
No, you're going to lose. And when she drew the line and said, I'm not putting my cigarette out, it's my car, that was enough for that officer. Now, here's where I fault the officer. This is me, you know, sitting in the middle. You know, for him to go, you're not putting your cigarette out? All right, you're under arrest. Really? Now, she didn't follow his command to put her cigarette out.
Right, but that's not illegal.
It seems to be a bit harsh, doesn't it?
Right.
Now, and I don't smoke, but if I did, I would have put my cigarette out because I'm a white kid from the suburbs. I want to do what the police officer tells me to do because I want to get out of there without a ticket.
Right. Your goal is to just try to convince them to let you off with a warning.
Right. And she was trying to make a point, I think, of saying, look, I've had it. I've had enough of these cases where I see minorities treated this way. I'm not going to be treated this way. You, sir, are not going to tell, or you know, whatever she called him, you're not going to tell me what to do. And, you know, now, how would the officer handle this where it would have been better? In my view, maybe at that point, all right, you know, I'm trying to think what you could even do. I mean, really, could you pull her out of the car for not putting her cigarette out?
But I mean, is it even worth pulling her out of the car? She's not like a theft suspect or wanted for anything serious.
Right.
I totally get it if it was someone who was wanted for something, there was a warrant out, or anything like that. Like they're driving a stolen vehicle, fine. Be aggressive. I guess in this scenario, if it is her being a little feisty, but it's just to stop for not signaling, if I were an officer, I would probably just be annoyed enough and just let them go, because I assume they're not going to cause real harm to society. Personal opinion.
But as that officer's thinking right now, he's like, okay, where do I have just told this woman to do something.
Right.
I'm in a position of authority here.
Right.
She's defying my authority. What do I do next?
And that's when he wants to prove his authority.
Yeah, by pulling her out of the car. Now, okay, now let's say that taking her out of the car, maybe, it's an okay thing for him to do because he wants to take it to the next level or whatever.
Right.
The reaching in and grabbing and pulling, right, as soon as he starts reaching in, he calls for backup. It takes a long time for that backup to get there. Again, you're not seeing it in this video,
we don't
but
see it at all.
obviously, I mean, the rest of the video plays out and the backup's not there yet. The backup eventually comes about 4 or 5 minutes later, I believe. But maybe the thing to do at that point is you stand back, you call for backup. We have an issue here. I'm going to wait for somebody else to get here. And at that point, you got somebody else to help you. You're not getting in a physical fight with this woman in her car.
Right. I know the chat room has been very active since we started
They
this
have.
discussion, and I don't even think we've looked at their
Well, let's look
comments
at
thus
'em.
far.
I don't know. Like I said, I see fault with both parties. And hopefully, did you pull that story I was telling you about?
I'll just do a quick search for it.
Oh, okay. And
It's on our YouTube channel.
Okay, yeah. And I did a story that went viral, actually, I don't know, 4, 5, 6 months ago. And it was basically the same thing. It was right after the Ferguson riots, I believe. And we took a protester, one of the leading protesters in town, protesting against the police, and put them through a use of force training exercise. And what came out of that was exactly what we just said. At the time that you're out in public with a police officer, and you don't think you're going to get beaten to like Rodney King style or something, but that's
Right.
very rare. Do what they say. Do what they say, comply, and if they're being wrong by arresting you or whatever, take it up with the judge. But again, fighting with the police officers out in the field is bad, and
Not
it can
worth it.
end very badly.
So the activist critical of police undergoes use of force scenario?
Yeah.
So on our channel, it has pretty much 800,000 views, but I know that it was posted elsewhere, right? People have
Yeah.
reposted it, so
It's still a lot of
I'm sure
people,
millions.
and then it got retweeted by a bunch of police agencies and different things. I don't know. Do you want to? Why don't you cue that up? Do you want to go to the chat room first and get to some of these
maybe
people?
just acknowledge them because I know the chat is going to be going on for a while. So go ahead, and if you want to read some of them, I ran through a lot this morning.
Did you?
People want cops to give irrational respect to irrational people. It's ridiculous, Billy Z. Cruzen says. Beverly saying, and said earlier there was liability on both parts.
Right. I agree with that.
Halila saying, okay, but from the get-go she was being nasty and blaming the officer for something she did wrong.
Right, but now let me acknowledge that. She was in the wrong doing that. But I've always said, I don't know how those police officers do their job because for the most part, they're not interacting with happy, upbeat people. They're confronting people who generally are being accused of something or being told to do something, and very few people like to be told what to do, and especially criminals, they don't like it. So, they must have interaction all the time with people who are in a crappy mood or somebody who gives them attitude. Doesn't that have to go with the job?
Yeah, it's part of the job. I'm pretty sure it's in the job description when you're applying.
Right, so you should know how to handle that. That would be my thing.
I've heard that argument a lot.
You should know how to kind of diffuse that. And yeah, she was being crappy from the very beginning. She had a bad attitude. But come on, you're the professional. You're the police officer, and you got to know how to kind of diffuse that and bring it down. And I think he kind of escalated it, which is why I blame him for his role. But her, I truly believe if she would have put her cigarette out, she'd be alive. That's my feeling. Because I don't think she would have gone to jail. I think if she would have put her, and who knows, if she did end up committing suicide, maybe she would have done it 2 days later
home.
anyway. Yeah. But I'm saying she would not have died in jail. I think that she puts her cigarette out, she gets out of the car, they have a discussion, she gets back in her car and goes on her way.
Leslie saying if they're both wrong, guess who wins? The guy with authority always wins. The authority we gave them to deal with the tough situation.
Right.
Billy Z. Cruising, step out of the car is a lawful order.
Right. And, she probably should have complied, but did he have the justification to pull her out of the car? Because she was smoking a cigarette and annoying him.
Yeah, you can't be arrested for being annoying, can you?
I don't know. There'd be a lot of, their jails would be more crowded than they are. No,
we could take this in a whole nother direction, but let's focus on that topic at hand. Halila is saying she was being defiant, coming up against his authority, and he does have the right to tell her to get out of the car. She was out of line. Billy Z. Cruzen feels she escalated it all the way. Beverly saying she did play a part. I do not disagree. Mai Mudina saying she gave up her right to only identify herself when she started with her mouth. Halila saying he was not doing it for failure to signal. He was doing it because she was not being compliant to his authority. Darren saying she should have shut her mouth. Leslie saying the best parts of the video are always missing in terms of the editing.
Yeah, no, I watched the Raw and I didn't see any edits, and I'm always critical of, I can cast that stuff because I watch so much video.
Right.
I didn't see any edits. It looked raw to me, and watched the whole thing. And you think that's going off? You should hear once they cuff her. She is just, calling him a P word. You're a big P, you're this, that, and not, it's a P word describing a woman's genitalia, if you get my drift. And then the MFs are flying and the whole thing, and she's screaming, and, it really, they're fighting. And I haven't seen the other angle of the video, I guess, that a bystander took of her head getting slammed into the ground. But once the fight starts, again, I got to say, I've always backed up the police officers, because once you're fighting with an officer, that officer has every right to defend himself, because he has to go home that night to his wife and family, and he has no idea what you're capable of. You're a total stranger to him.
It's like your use of force video. Sometimes you just have to pull the gun because you don't know. You yourself are being threatened. So I did ask if I could use this video. We can play the profanity. Yes, but I prefer not, Jeff says. That video is released by police, so it should be okay.
I think you celebrated a little early.
No. But Brian is sending me a link. Texas DPS, that's the raw video they released. Oh, it's removed now.
I've got it. That's right on my desk.
Oh no, Brian says that we have the full video in our Wednesday folder. I want to play it.
I have your back.
Thank you.
Yeah. We're all adults here, right?
We are, and
we've all heard cursing. This is not over the airwaves.
I can put a lower third that says viewer discretion advised. I feel like that I've done my job if I have a lower third that says that. So why don't we have this discussion, and when you have to go back to work on your story, I will play that full 45-minute raw, unless some executive comes out and gets mad at me. Then I will take it off.
As long as they're mad at you and not me.
Well, like you
have my full support.
Until then. Thanks, Troy.
When they come over here, the executives, and ask you to put your cigarette out, do it. That's all I got to say. Just do it.
There's no cigarette.
Because it can go south.
Mai Mudina saying she should have took the ticket and fought. Maybe he would have given a warning.
It was a warning. And that doesn't even show up on here either, I don't think. He
We're
says,
gonna have to watch the raw version.
After you'll hear him. She's like, you're giving me a ticket. He's like, I wasn't giving you a ticket. Look, and he picks it up. He goes, it says warning. I was giving you a warning.
Why don't we see this video?
Oh
my gosh, there's so much. Halila saying, my hubby makes stop like this all the time when things are slow. He finds small traffic offenses to do nothing other than warn drivers of their violations without giving a ticket. If things are slow, he still has a job to do.
There you go. And I always appreciate the people giving the warnings. I think those do work. Getting pulled over is not fun.
Crom Manatee, anyone that has ever had to work with the public should understand that this is the only recourse for some types of people, belligerent, entitled ones mostly. She didn't even give the cop a chance to be civil, Halila feels.
No, he was being civil at the beginning, from what I saw. And I think even asking her, hey, you seem really agitated. What's the deal? I don't have a problem with that. Do you?
Maybe then again, that line agitated her more. That's the thing.
Think it definitely opened up a can of worms.
Right.
And I guess why does he care why she's agitated?
Right, that was a little peculiar. Leslie saying.
And you wait till you see the first stop. He is just nice as pie. He almost skips back to his car afterwards. I'm like, this is the guy who beats up the woman?
You're hyping up.
Well, he's like, it's just the stop before. And he's like, okay, have a great day. And he's walking back to his car. Everything's okay. And he's got a little hat going and the whole deal.
There's a pretty good officer impression.
Like that. I just did my deal. I just wrote out a warning. We're all good here.
Oh, man. Okay. Leslie saying, is that an obligation to stop a violation no matter how small the violation is, as long as the officer saw it? Halala saying, no, Troy. He mentioned her agitation and she did nothing but blame him for the circumstances she was in. It was clearly her fault for the violation and she put it all on him. Some passion, Halala.
Yeah, well, she showed up at that stop with some issues there that she clearly brought into this. But I'm telling you, there are a lot of people who show up to traffic stops or on the street, interaction with the police officer, who have issues and history with officers. And I do feel like the police officers, either they need to be better trained to deal with it or whatever. I mean, to me, this situation, it was silly that it got escalated into a fight.
And the fact that we're even talking about it. Like, we should not be sitting here talking about someone who got pulled over for a quick traffic violation for not signaling the proper way.
Right.
We don't typically cover that. People probably get pulled over for that.
And if she would have put out her cigarette, or when he said, "You're agitated, why?" and she'd been like, "Oh, I don't like being pulled over for this, but whatever, do what you have to do," it would have been over. We wouldn't be talking about it.
Right.
But instead,
we don't know her. We don't know her experiences. What's
and neither
in her
does that
mind.
officer. That officer didn't know her.
The thrifty mommy, yeah, she doesn't have to follow his command to put out a cigarette. She can have an attitude all day long. Still doesn't give him the right.
It was weird. I mean, I think that he definitely escalated it on his own very quickly after the cigarette thing, to a point that I'm looking at it going, wow, really? I mean, I know that she's probably annoying to you, and it's like, oh, here we go, another woman who's going to hate on the police and have to deal with this BS attitude, won't put out her cigarette, but that you're going to arrest somebody for that?
Right.
Disobeying a lawful order to put your cigarette out in your own car? I mean, that would never stand up in court, ever, would it?
I don't know.
So, see, obviously, the thing is, officers go into these things with their own baggage.
Right.
They're human beings like anybody else. I do. I think the blame is shared, in my opinion.
Maimu's saying, I'm wondering if the cop thought there was maybe more in the car. Maybe that's why she was irritated and defensive. Adam's saying, no, he didn't have the right to pull her out of the car for the cigarette. As soon as he asked her to get out, lawful order, that's when he gets the right.
Right. But then my point again would be, you're going to ask somebody to get out of the car because they won't put their cigarette out. I mean, there's never anything else said. Right. Maybe he did, I don't know. If he thought there was some contraband in the car or something, don't you think that would have come up?
Right.
Before he's handing her a warning? It would have been like, hey, there might be something in here. But he's giving her a warning. Everything was going fine.
Until that warning.
Yeah.
Let's see. The side of the road is not the place to play roadside lawyer, Billy Z. Cruz and chiming in. John Hoffman saying, I couldn't see what she was doing in the car. Was she reaching for something?
It looked like she was just getting away from him. I don't know. You can't see from that angle.
Right. Lana saying, could you imagine being an officer and having to deal with this every day?
I can't imagine. I mentioned that earlier. I said, never a job I can do. And you know what? I had a police captain who was a neighbor of mine at my old house. And he was a super cool guy. And those guys loved to party. They would have the loudest... Funny story. So I just moved into the neighborhood like 6 months before. I didn't really know my neighbors. And our house was weird. Like the side of my house, his backyard backed right up to the side of my house because it was kind of a cul-de-sac type thing. And they had a party. We had a brand new baby. Lexi was like a year old, so this was like 15 years ago. And they had a party going on. And it was like 1 a.m, and they're in the backyard, rah, rah, rah. They're having a great time, rah, laughing, they're splashing in the pool, whatever. At 2 o'clock, I'm laying there in bed, and this is when I worked weekends. I'm like, I gotta be up tomorrow, too. So I grabbed the phone and I call the police. I'm like, my neighbor is having a really loud party, and it's like 2:30 or something. It was late. I'm like, and I really gotta sleep. Is there any way you can just go over there and ask him to keep it quiet or whatever? So, and then it didn't. It was like loud until like 3:30. I'm like, oh great, the police never came or whatever. But it ends up he's a police captain. And he's like, yeah, the squad car came by and said, yeah, your neighbor called you. This one right here, the one right behind you here, just called us saying you're too loud.
That's amazing.
Yeah,
that's
sold
such a good
me out.
ending to the story.
But you know what he did say is he's like, it's hard being a police officer, and I think I even mentioned. I said that was all cops over at your house, and he goes, yeah. He said we tend to really kind of hang out with each other. I said, why is that? He goes, people don't like hanging out with cops. He says people love hanging out with firemen. They see a fireman walk in, it's like, way fireman, yeah. But he says a cop walks in. I mean, even off duty, it's like, ooh, people don't. And so they deal with that, and I do give it up to them for their public service, and I do believe that the vast majority of our police officers do a great job, and there are bad apples there, just like there are bad apples in newsrooms and in schools and everywhere. Sure.
I have a question for you. There's been a lot of, I guess you could say, negative publicity surrounding officers in the last year or so, police, law enforcement in general. Do you think that this is going to push potential officers push them away from the profession?
No, I don't know. It's a good point. I know for a long time, Phoenix PD wasn't hiring just because of budget issues, and they started hiring again. I don't think they're having any trouble hiring. I mean, I don't know.
But I do wonder if people like second guess their career goals. Like maybe they wanted to go into law enforcement, but maybe there's a 16 or 17-year-old kid who has watched the news over the course of the last year.
And says, yeah, I don't want to be a part of that.
You know, it's just easier to just do something else and support law enforcement in another way.
Yeah, I think it might, I don't know if it's having an impact or not, but I think it definitely takes a certain type of person to do that job.
I don't know anyone personally.
I know a lot of people professionally, and they're very cool, but I don't have, I tend not to be friends with people I cover. So I know people, like when I do stories on them, and I hang out for, basically days on end, or sit at the stakeout for hours and hours, and I know them that way, but I've never been to their house.
I'm just saying, even like someone that you may have gone to high school or college with, like I just, in my own life, outside of work, don't know an officer.
You need to get out more. Hang out with some cop-like guys.
So.
You didn't hang out with a lot of jocks? You ever hung out with like our military? Cause a lot of the SWAT guys, especially, are ex-military. Biggest studs. Oh my gosh.
I must be too Hollywood or something.
Maybe.
Like, I probably know someone who's played a cop on TV.
Well, there you go. It's as close as you get.
That's the closest.
No, I hung out with a lot of jocks. So a lot of jocks end up going into law enforcement and going into the military. And so I can totally relate to these guys.
All right. Dee has a question. One question for you, Troy. With the secondhand smoke laws in place, wouldn't it be legal for a cop getting smoke blown in his face to demand she put the cigarette out?
I don't think so. I think if you're in your car, that's like one of the last places you can smoke.
Because it's your car.
I mean,
it's true. It's not really secondhand smoke unless you're in the cop's car.
Right. If she's smoking in the back of your car, then you have every right to say that.
Right. Thrifty Mommy, I see fault with both parties as well, but the only one was wearing a badge and on the job. Billy Z Cruising, could you imagine being a non-smoker having to breathe smoke on a traffic stop where she's insisting on prolonging the stop?
Yeah, no, but see, the only thing that's a good point, but the stop was over, really. I mean, he had the warning in his hand. So she's got the smoke going, and again, this is devil's advocate here. Like, again, I'm not saying who's right and who's wrong, but he could have very easily gone, okay, well, here's your warning, and don't do it again. He's gone that fast. But instead, well, why are you agitated? Why does he care why she's agitated? Here's your warning. Go. Do your own thing. So if he would have done that, she wouldn't have died in jail. And if she would have put her cigarette out, I don't think she would have died in jail.
Maribel's saying that was a great story, Troy. She's talking about the undergoing the Jared Maupin.
Oh, we should watch that.
Police force.
Before I leave, and then I got to go.
We will. You want to do it right now?
Yeah, let's put it on.
Activist critical of police.
Okay, so let me set this up. So anyway, this happened right after Ferguson, and a thought came into my head, and I was having a discussion with somebody at the sheriff's office, Rico. He's part of their PR staff, and he's a super cool guy. Again, a sheriff's deputy who I know professionally, but we're not friends.
But not invited to your birthday party.
Yeah, I could probably hang out with him. He's a cool guy. And we were just kind of firing ideas back and forth, and he said, I'd love to see one of these guys, these protesters, deal with this. And I went, bing! I'm like, yeah, why don't we do that? Why don't we have a protester who's well-known go through a use of force to see how fast... Now, again, this is not somebody getting beat up on the side of the road. This is somebody being shot and killed when you think there's deadly force that might be used. And what this was in the case of, was it Michael Brown? Was that his name?
For
Ferguson,
yeah.
Yeah. So he was a shoplifter, and the big issue was he armed when the police officer shot him, or did he think he was armed? So it turns out he wasn't. But as we will see here, it's tough for the officer to make that call when you do certain things.
Right. So let's watch.
And roll the tape.
He is one of the most outspoken critics of police use of force here in the Valley. But he gets some on-the-job training about use of force tonight.
Very interesting stuff. Reverend Jared Maupin led protests and marches after Phoenix police shot and killed an unarmed man. Well, tonight he gets a chance to experience the split-second decisions that police have to make. when encountering a suspect.
And our Troy Hayden was right along with him tonight, getting the training as well. This must have been eye-opening.
It was. It was a really interesting experience. You know, we've all watched those protests all over the country after police officers are accused of shooting people who aren't armed. But what would happen if one of those protesters felt what it was like to wear a badge and then be put in a life-or-death situation himself?
So I'm going to have you put the holster on right inside your belt loop there.
Jarrett Maupin gets his weapon. You might recognize him as a high-profile organizer in the minority community. Just last month, he led marches on Phoenix Police headquarters after an officer shot an unarmed man.
We want his badge. We want his gun. We want his job.
Today, he accepted an invitation to look at things from the other side, agreeing to go through a force-on-force training session with the Maricopa County Sheriff's Office. 3 scenarios where you have to decide to shoot or not shoot. Scenario 1 is a call about a man casing cars in a parking lot. Maupin approaches the man and starts asking questions.
What?
You're looking for your vehicle. What kind of car do you drive?
Wave your hand and your gun.
What kind of car do you drive?
It's my car, man.
Oh. Maupin, the officer, is shot. It happens that fast.
At what time did you think that it was time for you to address the use of force that was given? When he came to the back of the vehicle, and was hiding. You know, I could sense something was wrong.
Scenario 2, a call of 2 men fighting.
What's going on today, gentlemen?
What's wrong with you?
What's going on today, gentlemen?
What do you want?
What's happening here?
What's wrong with
Back
you?
up.
Huh? What are you doing, man?
Hey, he shouldn't approach me. He shouldn't approach me. He shouldn't approach me. He shouldn't approach me.
What happened in there?
Yeah.
What are you doing? You just shot him?
Hey, he rushed me.
Tell me why you shot.
Well, I've shot because he was within that zone. You know, I felt there was an imminent threat. I didn't necessarily see him armed, but he came clearly to do some harm to the officer, to my person. It's hard to make that call. It shakes you up.
Again, an unarmed man was shot. Scenario 3, a call about a possible burglar walking down the street. Maupin gets him on the ground. He's not complying.
I need you to keep your hands up, sir.
For what?
Because I need to check that waistband.
Well, why? What are you doing,
Because I don't know what you have under there.
Everybody, look at this guy. What are you doing?
No shots fired, but the suspect did have a hidden knife in his waistband. I went through the scenarios too, without seeing what Maupin did.
So, do you have keys, or do you have everything to show me that?
Don't worry about it.
No, I need to talk to you. Come on out over here. Well, I'm dead. Maricopa County Sheriffs, get on the ground. Get on the ground. Both of you, get on the ground. Get on the ground.
For what?
Get back. Get back.
Same results for both of us. Things happen very fast out here. I asked Maupin what his biggest takeaway from this exercise will be.
I didn't understand how important compliance was, but after going through this, yeah, my attitude has changed. This is all unfolding in 10 to 15 seconds. People need to comply with the orders of law enforcement officers for their own sake.
Thanks to the Maricopa County Sheriff's Office for taking us through that today. It was an eye-opener.
That's a tremendous admission that Reverend Maupin just made.
Right.
That you need to comply for your own safety.
Right, and he saw it. I mean, he plainly shot a man who was not armed but was coming at him, and he felt, that he was unsafe at that point, that he was coming after him, and he fired.
Yeah, and I don't think any officer goes into work thinking, I'm going to shoot and kill somebody today. But
No.
these interesting, things happen, like the guy coming from behind the SUV, boom, and you're dead.
And you are.
How,
6
how
shots
did
he
you,
got off.
how did you feel about those scenarios when you were going through them? Did it change your perspective?
Yeah, I've been through one of these before about 4 or 5 years ago, but it just reinforced how fast things happen. And you think at the time, oh, I can think through this and I can figure this all out. No, it's just, boom, it's just there. Yeah. It's that fast.
I have a lot of respect for Maupin for going through that.
Yeah,
I agree.
I do too.
And agreeing to go through that and seeing it from the other side as well.
Do you think it changes the way he approaches these issues going forward?
He says he's going to go out into the community and say what he said at the very end there. You have to comply with what police officers tell you. Let everything sort out at the end, but just do what they tell you right then and sort things out afterwards.
Interesting.
Interesting. All right, thanks, Troy.
Good stuff, Troy. Thank you.
That key
There
word
we
is
go.
comply.
Yeah, and that's what Jared Maupin said there, the activist. He said, look, do what the officer says, and at least you won't die out there, and then sort it out later. Because everybody comes into a situation with preconceived notions, and they come in with their own experiences, and
Right.
who knows what that officer sees at that time. When they say, show me your hands, When they say, get down on the ground, just do it.
Right.
And let everything de-escalate, and then you sort it out at the end. But you're not going to win fighting with a police officer, ever.
Troy wins. Troy, you were
I won?
pulverized.
Gio.
Oh my gosh. Do you guys remember, no arguing no arguing with each other, just discuss the topic at hand. Things are getting very feisty in there.
Are they?
They are.
Oh, well. All right. Well, that was interesting, and thank you for inviting me up here.
Thanks for giving us your
Yes.
perspective,
All right.
guys. I am going to
Do you want me to send you that link?
take a risk. Well, no, apparently we have
Oh, you got it.
in the
Okay.
Wednesday folder.
Good.
So, guys, I'm going to do this. I'm going to get this video, and we're going to play it until we are told we can't play it anymore. I take risks here, guys. Again, I'm just going to put a lower third up that says viewer discretion advised. Let's see where it is. Troy, you forgot to pimp your other story, by the way.
What's that?
Your story that you wanted to promote.
Oh, yeah. Are you doing it already?
Well, I mean, I just have this picture, but I don't know how to promote it.
Is it up right now?
Yeah. I just opened my email and remembered that you sent me this photo. So let's really quickly, before I play the full-length version.
Yes, I forgot to promote my story for tonight at 9 o'clock, and it'll end up being up on the internet too if you're out of state soon enough. And you can also watch on fox10phoenix.com.
Exactly.
But that right there, you're saying, what is that? That is a hotel room that you can rent.
What?
That's 210 feet underground, inside a cavern, and it's up in northern Arizona. So what you're looking at here, you're looking down at it.
Okay.
There's a whole stage area that you can have like a concert or whatever you want, and then to the right, and then the right of it's like that bookshelf. That's the TV for the room, and then the beds are like kind of down here on the back, and then that's a whole room with a little kitchenette. They have room service down there. They bring you a meal, and when you rent this room, you get the entire caverns. They're the largest.
Where? What?
Yes, it's in Peach Springs, which is about 3.5 hours northwest of here. It's on the west end of the Grand Canyon.
Okay.
And these Grand Canyon caverns are just these massive caverns.
What does it cost, though? This must be expensive.
It's a lot of money.
A lot of money. It was like,
What do you think?
okay, per night?
Yes.
Do they rent per night, or is
Yes.
it like a weekly thing?
No, no.
Okay.
Oh, you wouldn't want to be down there for a week.
Okay.
The most anybody ever rented it was for 2 nights.
I'm
But it's
going to be
got two.
optimistic.
Hold on a second. Hold on. 2 queen-size beds.
Okay.
Plus a king-size fold-out
Okay,
couch.
so it's a suite, basically.
Well, I mean, and you can sleep up to 6 people down there.
Okay.
Bathroom. You have your own attendant.
Okay.
There's an attendant because of, like, they don't want you to freak out down there. So
Right.
somebody sleeps up in the main hotel, 200 feet above you.
Okay.
And they're at your beck and call. You can call them at any hour.
Okay, I'm going to be optimistic and say 2,500. Is that way too low?
Nope. Go lower.
Oh, 1,000?
Lower.
1,000 was my original.
Yeah.
No, really?
Yeah, less than
I guess
1,000.
I'm 500?
You know what? I'm not going to tell
Okay,
anybody.
you're going to make us watch
It's
at night.
less than 1,000. But yeah, and the cool thing is it's in these caverns, and they give you the flashlights that you just go explore it. And there's like a bobcat that fell down there in the 1850s. It's all mummified. It's all like.
I
it's like
want to
that.
go. So you stayed in this?
I didn't stay, but I
you
spent
explored.
a lot of time down there. Yeah, I was going to stay in it, but then I felt bad. They had somebody at the last second who came and wanted the room, and it's, like I said, it's a substantial amount of money. So I'm like, I don't need to sleep down here to do the story.
Right.
But we were down there, and we played around in the room. We watched a
Right.
movie. We hung out. There's a dinner. They
That's
served a nice
really
dinner.
cool.
Yeah. So anyway, tonight on Fox 10 News at 9 o'clock Arizona time.
That is so cool.
And then we'll have it on the internet for you.
Is it super
tomorrow.
booked all the time, or is it fairly?
Yeah, they get. It's about 200 nights out of the year. It's booked.
Like if I wanted to book it for like end of August or something. do you think
Yeah, I have connections up there. You let me know. I'll make a
Okay.
call. I've
How
got a
many
direct
caves
line.
do they have, or is this just the one?
No, the caverns are big.
So
I
there are
mean,
multiple rooms in this cavern?
No.
Like, I guess I'm
Oh
saying,
yeah, there's multiple areas in the cavern, but only one room.
Sorry, that's what I meant. Like how
Yeah.
many people can stay at this place at once? Like just the one group at a
Yeah,
time?
6. But like I said, we're looking at the stage here.
Yeah.
They're going to have a wedding down there. So,
cool.
yeah, you have the wedding, and then so everybody can hang out, and then the reception is going to be there as well, so you can hang out and do that.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
Okay,
So,
cool.
very
Thanks
cool.
for sharing
All right,
that.
yep.
Okay. So guys, make sure to check that out. Now I'm going to look for that lengthy raw video clip that we were talking about earlier. Let me find it. This is that raw video we will watch it until we can no longer watch it. What? It's not in there. What was he talking about? He said it was in the Wednesday folder. Ah. Oh wow, here it is. Thank you, Brian. Found it. Yeah, thanks, Brian. All right. That was very loud.
Well, you're gonna need to see if you can get with your dad. He can give you that, send you an email or something, you know what I mean? To get that copy of the insurance, okay? Okay? This here is a warning. There is no fine, there's no penalty, but you just need to follow the posted speed limit, okay? What year are you here at school? Sophomore. You here for summer school or taking a lot of classes? Just 2? Okay. Here's a copy of the warning. There's no fine, no penalty, okay? And there's your driver's license, all right? So be careful, all right? Time patrol, the reason for your stop is you failed to signal the lane change. You got your driver's license insurance with you? What's wrong? How long you been in Texas? Okay. Do you have a driver's license? No, ma'am. Okay. Where are you headed to now? Okay. You give me a few minutes, all right? Okay, man. You okay?
I'm waiting on you. This is your job. I'm waiting on you. What do you want me to
Oh, you
say?
seem very irritated.
I am. I really am. Because I feel like this trap is what I'm getting the ticket for. I'm getting out of your way. You were speeding up, tailing me. So I moved over and you stopped me. So yeah, I am a little irritated, but that doesn't stop you from giving me a ticket. So.
Are you done?
You asked me what's wrong, and I told you.
Okay.
So now I'm done, yeah.
Okay. You mind putting out your cigarette, please? Or mine?
I'm in my car. Why do I have to put out my cigarette?
Well, you can step on out now.
I don't have to step out of my car.
Step out of the car.
Why am I...
Step out of the car.
No, you don't have the right.
Step out of the car.
You do not have the right to do that.
I do have the right. Now step out or I will remove you.
I refuse to talk to you other than to identify myself.
Step out or I will remove you.
I am getting removed for a failure.
Step out or I will remove you. I'm giving you a lawful order. Get out of the car now or I'm going to remove you.
And I'm calling my
I'm going to yank you out of here.
Okay, you're going to yank me out of my car?
Get out.
Okay, all right.
25.
Let's do this.
Yeah, we're going to.
Yeah, don't touch me.
Get out of the car.
Don't touch me. I'm not under arrest. You don't have the right to say
You are under arrest.
I'm under arrest for what?
25,
For what?
7 County FM 1098, just
what?
290, semi-low unit. Get out of the car. Get out of the car now.
Why am I being apprehended? You trying to give me a ticket?
I said get out of the car.
Why am I being apprehended? You
I'm giving you a lawful order. I'm going to drag you out of here.
So you threatening to drag me out of my own car?
Get out of the car.
And then
I will light you up. Get out.
Wow.
Now.
Wow.
Get out of the car.
For a failure to signal. You're doing all of this for
Get over there.
Right, yeah. Yeah, let's take this to court. Let's
Go ahead.
For a failure to signal. Yep, for a failure to signal.
Get off the phone.
On my school.
Get off the phone.
I'm not on the phone. I have the right
Put
to
your
record
phone
my
down.
property.
Put your phone down.
Sir?
Put your phone down. Right now. Put your phone down.
For a fucking failure to signal my business.
Come over here.
Y'all are interested.
Come over here now.
You feeling good about
Stand right here.
You feeling good about yourself?
Stand right
For a
there.
failure to signal, you feel real good about yourself, don't you?
Turn around.
You feel good about yourself,
Turn
don't you?
around now.
What are you?
Put your hands
Why
behind
am
your
I
back and
being
turn around.
arrested?
Turn around.
Why can't you tell me
I'm
why?
giving you a lawful order. I will
Why
tell
am I
you.
being arrested?
Turn
Why
around.
don't you tell me that part?
I'm giving you a lawful order. Turn around.
Why will you not tell me
You are not
what's going on?
complying.
I'm not complying because you just pulled me out of my car.
Turn around.
Are you fucking kidding me? This is some bullshit.
Put your hands behind your back.
Because you know this is straight bullshit and you full of shit. Full of straight shit. That's how y'all are some scary fucking cops. South Carolina got y'all bitch asses scared. That's all it is. Fucking scared of a female.
If you would have just listened,
I was trying to sign the fucking ticket. Whatever.
Stop moving.
Are you fucking serious?
Stop moving.
Oh, I can't wait till we go to court. Ooh, I can't wait. I cannot wait till we go to court. I can't wait. Ooh, I can't wait. You want me to sit down now?
No.
Or you gonna throw me to the floor? That'll make you feel better about yourself?
Knock it off.
No, that'll make you feel better about yourself? That'll make you feel real good, won't it? Pussy ass. Fucking pussy. For a failure signal, you doing all of this. The little ass failures you touching. My God, they must have...
You were getting a warning. Until now, you're going to jail.
Oh, I'm getting... For what?
You can come read. What? Come read right.
I'm getting the warning for what?
Stay right here.
For what? Well, you just pointing me over there.
I said stay right here.
Get your fucking mouth right. Let me... Oh, I swear on my life, y'all some pussies. A pussy ass cop for a fucking signal. You are telling me to jail.
He said handcuffs.
What a pussy. What a pussy. Hey, what? You got to break my fucking wrist.
Stop moving.
I'm standing still. You keep moving me. God damn it.
Stay right there.
Don't touch me. Fucking pussy for a traffic signal. You know this bullshit?
Come read right over here. This right here says a warning. You started creating the problem.
You asked me what was wrong.
Do you have
I'm trying to tell you.
Person that's illegal?
Do it feel like I got anything on me? This is a fucking maxi dress.
I'm going to remove your glasses.
This is a maxi dress.
Come on over here.
Fucking asshole. You're about to break my wrist. Can you stop? You are about to fucking break my wrist.
Stop now. Stop it!
Stop resisting, man.
If you would stop, then I would tell you. Now stop!
You are such a pussy. You are such a pussy.
No, you are. You yanking around.
You are traffic signal.
You are yanking around. When you pull away from me, you're resisting arrest.
This makes you feel real good, don't it? A female for a traffic signal. I got it. For a traffic signal. I know that makes you feel good, officer. I know it makes you feel real good. You're a real man now. You just slammed me, knocked my head in the ground. I got epilepsy, you motherfucker.
Good.
I hope I good. I thought about that before you start resisting. All right, yeah, this is real good. Real good for a female, yeah. Y'all strong, dude. Y'all real strong.
I want you to wait right here. Wait right here.
I can't go nowhere with your fucking knee on my back door.
I'm opening your door. You need to leave. You need to leave. You need to leave. For a warning, you're going to jail.
Whatever.
For resisting arrest. Stand up.
If I could,
Okay, roll over.
I can't even fucking feel my arm.
Tuck your knee in. Tuck your knee in.
I think.
Listen, you gotta sit up on your butt.
Slam my head into the ground.
Sit up on your butt.
Listen to how he's telling you to get up. I can't even hear. Yes, you can. He slammed my fucking head into the ground.
Sit up on your butt. Now stand up.
All of this for a traffic signal. I swear to God. All of this for a traffic signal. Thank you for recording. Thank you for a traffic signal. Slam me into the ground and everything.
No.
Everything. I hope y'all feel
This officer saw everything.
And I'm so glad to forget you just got on the scene. So whatever. No, you wasn't. You were pulling up. No, you didn't. No, ma'am. You didn't see everything you went up to. I'm not talking to you. You don't have to. You don't have to.
1:47 county. Yeah. Send me a first available for arrest.
Brand new first available record. We have that 1098 North US Route first available record. We have that 1098 North US Route.
Yeah, I'm good. She started yanking away, then kicked me, so I took her straight to the ground.
And there you got it, right there. Yeah. Let me see what I'll search it for you if you want.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, one thing for sure, it's on video.
Yeah.
You hurt? No. Did you see it when we were right here?
Yeah, I saw that that's one.
this is when she pulled with the cuffs. I know it still. So your ring got you there? I had the chain. Well, not the chain, but like, you got the 2 loops? She ain't kick me too hard. They'll kick me though. They'll mark me. Not through the skin, just like that stretch. I'm a paramedic, that's why I know you're right. I'm not, Did she do that? Yeah, that's all from the cup. That's from the cup, that's not from her skin or anything else? No, all from the cup. Alright, so I let go of the cup, wrapped her around her head, got her down. There. I thought so already, you was mine. Traffic stop, has a little bit of an incident.
816, show 1 in custody. I have a Texas deal, please, if you can run it. 26459733. 26459733. You run a complete screen hold over 2547, please.
Yes, sir. Could you dispatch EMS to this location, please? I think that's clear forward. Hey, Tom. Hey, Tom, yeah, traffic. Hey, Tom, you show me out the trooper in Waller County just showed up too. Clear. 537 emergency will be 3551. Excuse me, 35551, FM 1736. 35551, FM 1736. From elderly female, anxiety.
So forth. Tried to de-escalate her, and it wasn't getting anywhere at all. I mean, I'm saying I have to put taser away. You know, I tried talking to her, calming her down, and that was not working. Well, I know that was when she was in cuffs. I mean, I'm trying to get her detained. Get her just calm down and just, you know, calm her down. Just stop throwing your arms, stop, you know, whatnot. She never swung at me, but she just flailing, stomping around, and all kind of stuff. I said, all right, that's enough. And that's when I detained her. And the mayor started going on. She started kicking and kicking. So, once I got her in the back of the car, that's why I'm calling you now, because we were in the middle of a traffic stop, and the traffic stop was not completed. I was trying to get her out over the sign, and you know, and just explain to her what was going on, because I couldn't even get to do what I was telling her. I mean, she just started going, "This is an MF, and you give me an MF and ticket for a lane change." I mean, she just started going. I just stepped back in the car. I was like, "Are you done, ma'am? I need to tell you why and what I'm giving you." And it just kept on going. I mean, I don't have seriously bodily injury. You know, but I was kicked. Assault is if assault is if a person commits offense of intentionally, knowingly, or recklessly causing bodily injury to another. You intentionally threaten another imminent bodily injury, including the person's spouse. I threw her down intentionally. No, I put you down because you kicked me. Things were fighting back, you know. And I kept telling her to calm down, calm down. Evading arrest or detention. This person commits an offense if he eventually resisting arrest, search, or transportation. If they person commits an offense, they intentionally prevent or obstruct a person, a police officer or a person acting as a police officer from effecting an arrest, search, or transportation. So, she was detained. That's the key. That's why I'm calling you and asking, because she was detained. Okay, when she started, and that's why I was walking over to the car just to calm her down, and just stop. And that's when she started kicking me. So, I don't know if it would be resist or if it would be assault. I kind of lean towards assault versus resist, because technically she's under arrest when a traffic stop is initiated. That's a lawful, you're not free to go. I didn't say you're under arrest. I never said, stop, hands up. Correct. That did not occur. It was just the assault part. Like I said, after I get it all situated and buttoned up to as far as getting her in a safe vehicle under arrest, that's why I'm calling you. She just moved here, according to her, yesterday. She's from Illinois. She's over here. I guess. Driver's license. I came back to the car, started running her stuff, printed out, coming to get back to the car to complete, tell her what she's receiving and what to do and so forth. And at that time, she's still very much irritated and so forth. Now I'm pulling her over for, she didn't turn on her signal and so forth and so forth. So, she wouldn't even look at me. She'd look straight ahead, just mad, So, and I'm at the driver's side, and so I need to get her out of the car, get her to the side of the car, on the sidewalk, because I don't want to be out in the middle of the road while we're arguing or whatever. Well, not arguing, but I'm trying to tell her what she's doing when she's arguing with me. So forth. That's the only thing I'm leaning to. So, and then when I had her down on the ground and the other officer came, I told her to stop resisting. And that's when I told her you're under arrest. And I told her what for. At least I don't think I did. Yes. She kicked me. She started yanking away, trying to get away. And that's when I grabbed her arm. She's in front of me still. I controlled and I grabbed her by the shoulders and I brought her down into the grass and looked at the baby. So. good. Yeah. And like I said, something like this, I just call you immediately after I get to a safe stopping point. Weapons, she's in handcuffs, you know, I took the lesser of the, I only took enough force as I seemed necessary. I even de-escalated once we were on the pavement, you know, on the sidewalk. So I allowed time. I mean, I'm not saying I just threw it to the ground. I mean, I allowed time to de-escalate and so forth. And it just kept being You're right, I just making it clear. Right. I mean, I guess it cuts on my hand. I mean, I guess it is an injury, but I don't need medical attention, you know, just a little, we had 3 little circles from, I guess, the handcuffs when she was twisting away from me. Simple traffic stop. Yeah, I don't get it. I really don't. Pierce.
Pierce 2547.
Pierce, I have a suspect on my tree, 1095. Sergeant Mossick has been notified. I'll public service with details. Your status is 10-4 now. I do have another officer with me. I'll public service shortly.
2547.
All right, guys, we're going to step away from this video really quickly because we're going to be going to a live event by the Phoenix Fire Department. They had a press conference scheduled for 4 o'clock, and it looks like they have officially started. This is in regards to the stickers that are being removed from the fire trucks because it has references to the union. Stand by, guys.
The union logo was a small part of a bigger sticker that said, "Our family helping your family." And again, the union representation, we're all union members. Our strong partnership with the city and the job we do and what we represent and the things that we do both on and off the job and supporting our community has never been a problem. So those stickers have been on over 10 years, but again, we're voluntarily removing them once we were notified of the potential legal issue.
Mark, there are a lot of firefighters who are upset about this, as I'm sure you know. What do you say to the guys who are upset that this is happening and feel a little disappointed in the city for this even coming about?
Yeah, you know, it was just a misunderstanding as to what the law was when we put these on. So now that it's clear and we've looked into it further, I understand some of the guys are upset, but unfortunately we are bound by what the law says, and we would never want to violate that. So hopefully within time we'll get used to it.
What's involved in it?
Yeah, they're stickers. They have we have the equipment to put these stickers on and off. Of course, we use not only these stickers of our logo that says "Our family helping your family," but you may have seen fire trucks in the valley with the big placards on the sides to watch your kids around water. And we do a lot of our messaging with our fire trucks. They're very visible. So
it doesn't create any damage to the trucks when you take them off?
No, the trucks are not damaged, and there's no permanent damage to the truck or the paint job. No.
I can't help but wonder though that there is some difficulty.
Yeah, I don't know what it may entail to take a sticker off, but I do know that with the technology available, it's easier than ever to do so.
Is there some question about some of the other logos that you guys have, or some of the other things that are on the fire trucks, like possibly Blue Shield, like you guys have some?
The only stickers or logos that were ordered to be taken off the fire trucks are those with the union sticker on them. That is it. It sounds like it was a miscommunication. None of those stickers were to be taken off.
And as far as the "Our Family Helping Your Family," was the union logo embedded in that, or are you still able to use the "Our Family Helping Your Family" part?
Yeah, we're still, that's our slogan. "Our family helping your family" is our slogan. That is not going away. That's what we've stood by. That's what we do. That's our service delivery. That's our service to the city of Phoenix. And that slogan still stands. The stickers had the union logo attached to them in a small place above that logo. So it was easier, from what I understand about the process, to just take the entire sticker off instead of just covering or removing one part of it.
So is that one part going to be returned to the trucks then? "Our Family Helping Your Family"?
In time, I believe so.
Do you have any idea about the cost?
I do not have any estimate of the cost, no.
And is this being done by like city vehicle maintenance crews or just by the firefighters?
Yeah, it's being done by our resource management team.
Thank you.
Can you say anything about the nature of the person that called this to your attention? Did they raise a big fuss about it? Did they express problems about politics or anything like
Yeah, that would be speculative on my part. You would probably get a much better answer from him, I'm sure.
I'll find it.
Thank you, Mark. Do you have any of the trucks that are here?
We don't. They've been removed already. Most of them have been removed. And again, when we're talking about the removal process, it's not just the fire trucks. It's the ambulances, the staff vehicles, our support vehicles, staff cars. So it's quite a big fleet. And but we have the resources to do that. That's part of our operating costs. We put these stickers on. These trucks don't come from the factory with all these custom stickers on them, so we do most of that stuff ourselves.
What made the stickers be installed in the first place years ago?
Well, that's our logo, and our slogan, rather, is "Our Family Helping Your Family." That's kind of been our little motto for the Phoenix Fire Department. And the union did attach the union logo to that. And until it was brought to our attention, again, for 10 years, these trucks have provided excellent customer service in the city of Phoenix. It hasn't taken away from what we do. So, but once it was brought to our attention that there may be a legal issue, we're not going to mess around with that. We're just going to err on the side of caution and remove those stickers.
Do you know how many, because you said there were 400, 500 or something like that, how many?
We've done 400 out of almost 575 vehicles to date.
I'm sorry, how many out of how many?
To date, we've done about 400 out of 575 vehicles. Those numbers are approximate, with the work going on as we speak, of course.
And just to be clear, we're talking about city law being violated, not...
May be. Depending on interpretation of the law, there may be a violation. We're not going to take it to court, we're not going to fight it, we're err on the side of caution, and we're going to remove those stickers. We don't want a legal battle. We'll just take the advice that it may and remove the stickers.
And just to be clear, this is more of a city issue, a possible violation of city law as opposed to a state's.
It is Arizona state law.
And you've taken off 400 over the course of how long? When did you start?
I believe we started within the last month. I don't have an exact date.
A month or so.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you.
That's it. All right. Anybody need anything else? One-on-one, personal? Thank you.
Thanks, Mark.
You're welcome.
All right, looks like that was a fairly brief press update. What I'm going to do is play a little bit more from the Sandra Bland arrest video. I know there were a few more minutes left, and then Jeff Moriarty will be joining me for Tech Talk with Jeff. A 2-hour rally. It's already an hour and 33 minutes. If you want, you could clip an hour. I don't know how you wanted to approach it, but it's still rolling. I keep extending it. Good to have as backup. Or if we just go over the chat list. Why? Yeah, I saw the chat room talking about it, but I didn't understand why. Yeah, I had no idea. That's really dramatic. Of all the people, right? What do you want to say right now with this lower third up on the air, Jeff?
Viewer discretion is advised. Yes, the Samia and Jeff show. Viewers should be not
We should just have that permanently whenever you and I are up here.
Yes, viewers should be show discretion and be probably afraid, very, very afraid.
Wow.
Hey, Samia.
Hi. So we watched a very extended version of that Sandra Bland traffic stop.
It's crazy.
The story of the day. Oh my gosh.
None of these stories are simple. There's just so much about these and perspectives and points of view, and it is just a mess from top to bottom. You could probably change our lower third now, though.
Thank you. We could lighten things up and talk about the drama between Taylor Swift, Nicki Minaj, and now Katy Perry, but I'm not going to go that route.
Thank you, because I would just be able to sit here and go, oh, really? That's amazing.
But we can talk about something you and I both know.
You're forgetting somebody.
Oh, the bear?
Samia, Jeff Moriarty, and Bear Mug.
I forgot.
Yeah,
sorry, Bear Mug. We only have limited space, and
sorry.
Some people have to get left behind. Halala is pointing out that your hair is getting long again.
Getting shaggy, a bit curly today. Somewhat something. How would you describe it today?
Jeff-like. Jeff-like is almost an adjective to describe hair that looks like Jeff. Sometimes Jeff does not have Jeff-like hair, though, and those are the days that you're a little thrown off. Typically, it's right after you get the haircut.
Yeah, it's
That's
getting
very
due.
un-Jeff-like.
Getting due.
But Jeff,
sorry, go ahead.
We're
up here for Tech Talk, yes?
2 stories to talk about. One that has me very excited, and 2 that have you very excited.
You scared me. I'm like, what's the second topic? Because I'm like not prepared for that one. But yes,
yeah, you
it
are.
is. I know what it is.
Yeah, so we'll save that one for last. Let's start with the one that you brought to my attention first. The bear has nothing to do
arms.
with Tech Talk.
Right there for Rachel. She supports the right to bear arms.
Speaking of bearing arms, did you hear the breaking news from Governor Ducey?
He's gonna what?
He is now, he wants the recruiting centers to be armed here in Arizona in response to what happened in Tennessee.
You just
see how I transitioned there?
You don't want me to go off on that topic.
We're not. We're going to focus on tech and fun topics.
Tech. We're going to be serious. We're going to be focused like laser freaking beams.
So, talk to me about this hack, this Jeep hack. You told me about it. You were like, oh, did you talk? I'm like, I didn't even know about it until you brought it up.
Amazing. So, here's the thing. This guy was driving his Jeep down the freeway.
That's how you hold your steering wheel?
No, this is how I dramatize it. Because I'd be like...
Be like this. I'd be like this.
Well, yeah, you have the phone. I do not.
Kidding, guys. I saw that. Did you see that ad recently? The ad that just came out today that's all over the internet?
No, focus.
It has to do with texting and driving.
Focus.
Okay.
Have I shown you the focus fox? This was a thing we did in a group that I was in where people would bounce all over and do this. It's like the sound of the focus fox. Everybody focus.
And we're a fox.
Yeah, so it kind of fits.
I want to give me a stuffed. I want a stuffed fox, and every time I look at it, I'll remember to focus.
Got to tell that one to the BF. Okay.
Oh no, it's work related, so maybe the GM, not the BF.
Okay. Guy's riding down the road in his Jeep, and his Jeep is being hacked by 2 guys sitting there on their laptop doing things like, we're going to turn on his windshield wipers. We're going to turn on his AC. We're going to turn off his brakes. Taking control of his entire vehicle remotely while on their laptop while this guy is driving along. Right? So,
Rob Heck.
There's a, yes. That is, yeah, you connect, and so this was all over the internets yesterday, so a lot of people have probably seen this. So if you want to chime in thoughts and questions you have on it, let me know. So these 2 guys are presenting an exploit at the DEF CON security conference that's coming up. I believe it's next month in Vegas, which is a crazy. That thing is almost in fact, I'm sure it is. When it comes close, we'll do a Jeff Talk topic on that. Crazy wild stuff comes up.
Jeff Talk topic? Is that a new segment with Jeff? Jeff Talk?
It's Jeff Tech Talk with Jeff the Tech Talker on Tuesday, except sometimes Wednesday.
Never Thursday.
No, wouldn't want
Rarely
that.
Thursday.
Yeah,
Once
and
in
then
a while.
Friday is
Thursday.
just your Friday. So these guys. So what this conference is it's a lot of things, but amongst those things is a place for people to go and present exploits or information on technology, things that are sometimes kind of scary, some kinds of ways to hack into people's phones, ways to exploit Wi-Fi networks, all kinds of stuff. And this one is specifically talking about the exploit in the Jeep. And what happens is more and more car manufacturers are putting computers in the car. You take your car into the dealership, and the first thing they're going to do is plug in a cord, and your car is going to tell it how, what's wrong with it, or how long it's been, or are there certain systems not reporting right, or anything else. And a lot of times those systems are hooked up to the different systems in the car to either control it a little bit or balance power, especially on electronic cars. So our vehicles have become more and more computerized.
AKA dangerous.
Dangerous. Well, possibly dangerous, possibly more helpful. I mean, it really depends how you look at it. There's a
The
great...
pessimist and the optimist.
Yeah, wow, it's scary. If I'm the optimist in a group, things are scary.
I'm like, we're going to die because someone can take over our car. You're going to like, no, they can save us. I'm like,
well, there's an interesting
think about that.
Freakonomics podcast episode where they talked about the dangers in automation. What did they call it? I had a term for it. But there was actually a plane crash that happened, and it looks like the root. This was years ago. And what happened was the plane crashed, and it turns out that the autopilot had gotten confused and sort of disconnected, and the pilots weren't sure what was going on. So the pilots, they basically didn't know how to fly the plane. So they're the freaking pilots. They'd become so dependent on the autopilot telling them what was going on. When it wasn't telling them going on, they're like, I don't know what's happening here. And the pilot kept pulling back on the stick. And he pulled back so far that the plane went into a stall. And normally the autopilot will prevent that from happening. It will, if you try to pull back, it'll go up to this maximum amount and then just wouldn't let you do it. But it was off, and he didn't realize this was actually the fly-by-wire system. So it went all the way up, plane stalled, and then went down, and they couldn't pull it out of the stall and crashed. So you'd think autopilot helps the pilots, right? It gets them, they can navigate better when they're tired. It's, it can fly around bad weather systems, and it can bring a lot of technology, things like preventing it from going into a stall. But then it became so automated that the pilots actually didn't know how to work well without it. So, what's that sweet spot? That's a question people have with the Google cars.
Right.
What if somebody, hacks your Google car, and they're like, ha, I've got you now, Samia, and you're like, eek. Actually, it'd be like, you die. I don't even know what's happening here. You got your phone. But
hold on, let me get a picture.
Yes.
Let me tweet about dying now. I shouldn't say that.
No, don't joke.
I'm
don't
not
joke.
joking, sorry.
Oh my God, I don't want you to die. I would have so much paperwork to fill out around here. Oh, take me like a day.
Oh, I know you'd have to put another post up hiring digital journalists. It'd be really stressful for you.
Yes, it would be a rough
I hope
day.
you shed a tear, maybe.
I will.
And you too, guys. You at home especially, many tears.
I'll get a Starbucks
s'mores frap.
Yeah, s'mores frap. Yes. I'll
Drink
put a
all that
candle in it.
sugar.
Put a candle and I'll light it with a little shrine.
It'll melt though. Anyways,
So
focus box.
So anyway, can people hack these cars? So this exploit came out when these people took, crazy amounts of control over this Jeep. And
what kind of Jeep was it? Can I pull something up?
Take a look for it. There's a big Wired article on it. I don't think you can pull up the full article, but you should be able to pull up. You can get some information off of it.
Hackers remotely kill Jeep on highway with me in it.
Yeah.
Am I allowed to play this or no?
Click play and see you at the ad is probably not. Because I think it's probably a Wired article. So it was a Jeep Cherokee. The guy was driving 10 miles away when these two guys were in the basement taking control of it. And apparently there's a lot more that they can do. But here's... Yeah, I mean, there's almost 500,000 different hackable automobiles, cars out there.
Wow.
Yeah, right now. But here's what they didn't really get into a lot in a lot of the stories that you've seen out there. One, these guys had access to the car beforehand. What they did, it looks like, and again, I don't think that they've released all the info on it that I've seen, that they were able to get access. They connected via Bluetooth to the car, and then they were able to basically reprogram it and put that on your car. But let's say you wanted to kill someone or wanted to do something horrible to someone, you could actually, and if you watch this video here, if you go to Wired, you can see the full thing. We unfortunately can't play it directly here, but
just search Wired Jeep in Google News. That's how I found it.
Yeah. But you'll see this guy's, I mean, they can mess with his steering and do stuff, and you'll see his steering wheel go, and he's like, what's going on here? Ghosts. And it would be pretty crazy if they could get access to your vehicle without you knowing it, put this in, and you're just driving along, and you wait until you're in the middle of a dangerous curve or doing something fast, and then boom.
How do you stay safe?
Right now, not a lot you apparently can do. I mean, you don't want to have somebody connecting to your car in general that you don't know.
Right.
If you have somebody who, whatever you pair, devices that you pair with, your phone for Bluetooth or whatever. Like I play podcasts and listen to
Serial that I haven't listened to.
I've kind of given up on you at this point. I still would like to do it.
You're welcome to.
Yeah, I don't know if anyone in the chat room still remembers or is interested, but I do not forget.
I just finished my Bill Clinton book. Sorry.
He's not president anymore.
But he could be first man.
Is it first man or first gentleman?
I don't know.
Because it's not first woman, it's first lady. So you'd think it would be first gentleman.
Oh, right. First gentleman.
So what's up with that? Women are ladies, but if it's a guy, it's just first man.
I don't know. We've just never had one. We don't even have a name. Maybe it will be first gent.
You know what? I bet I would guarantee you that somebody's figured that out. You Google it while I'm finished talking.
I don't want.
Okay.
We'll save that for a future tech talk.
Protocol talk. Yes, foreign relation diplomatic press talk with Jeff. It'll be riveting. The numbers will just be flying in. Yes, Rachel, we'll get to Space Jam in just a second. So
we're getting there.
The more and more complex computers that we have in our vehicles, the more that can be done with them. Don't let people connect to your vehicles if you don't know them. And generally, I mean, who does, right? But even then, if you've got a friend, a techie, nerdy type guy, you may not want him connecting to your device, to your car. I'm sure once this gets tweeted out or shared or presented at DEF CON, you'll see the automakers making big strides in trying to lock these things down. These devices need to be secure. There have been other problems with, especially like health gear, where people could hack into like someone's insulin pump because they have Wi-Fi built into them where they can share out, connect to your home network, and tell the hospital, send it to your doctor. How are you doing on your insulin treatments and so on? And some idiot can hack into that supposedly and mess with it. And they don't have to mess with a lot. I mean, they just have it not work. And then this poor person who's, probably has limited access, which is why one reason why they might be doing insulin stuff at home, now is in mortal danger. So you need to make these systems secure. If you're going to put this stuff out there, you can't take it half-assed and assume nobody is going to hack into things. So
how do we avoid that? Can we just stick to old school methods? Like, how do I know if my car is hackable? Is that something that car dealers are going to sell us on now? Like, don't worry, your car can't get hacked.
There's no way. That's just
we
life.
just have to drive old cars. There you go. We're going to have to get cars from the 90s.
Well, but I mean, there's no such thing as perfect security, right? You know, there's the lock on you're in a apartment complex, right? Or condos or something. Okay, you know, those are notorious for having bad locks because there's usually a master key that the maintenance people or whoever have to have, and anytime you have one key that has to fit a lot of locks, then each lock becomes less secure because it has to fit your key and the master key. So, and then what kind of bolt do you have on it? I mean, it's probably a good lock. I don't want to scare you here, so it's not like it's a weak lock. But,
Jeff, if I get broken into tonight, it's your fault.
Paperwork. Anyway, the point being, there's no such thing as perfect security.
That's true.
You just have to find that balance. What are you comfortable with? And, this, having someone able to just spend 2 minutes in your Jeep and install software that lets them take you, potentially kill you on the road, that's a little too far the other way. That's like, I'm going to take my front door off and hang a sheet. That's not good enough.
That's very...
So, yeah. So, fascinating article. Go watch the video. It's on Wired. Really amazing. Watch this guy. They talk about it in a lot more depth. Kind of scary, kind of cool, all at the same time. Now the topic you guys have all been waiting for. I think this topic is going to be, dare I say it, a slam dunk.
My Mudina saying, I've been excited since reading Space Jam 2, and she doesn't mean that there's a book. My Moo means that it's in the title, Possibility of Space Jam 2.
Yep.
Yeah, lots of people chiming in on this. It looks like someone was like, please don't make a bad remake of a movie, another horrible remake of an old school movie, Super Smalls. Maybe, maybe not. Now, Rachel was really excited when she heard about this, but one of the things Rachel said, I noticed in the chat room, please not LeBron. Well, Rachel, I'm sorry to break your heart.
Lebro.
So what I'm going to do right now is pull up the screen and explain to you how this speculation sort of started. So right here we have LeBron James's Twitter account, King James. And if we scroll down, there's some big news. There's an article that he posts from the Wall Street Journal announcing his deal with Warner Brothers. But he basically posts this. LeBron James, his entertainment company, signs this deal with Warner Brothers. Big news announced today. Basically, now they're partnering up on movies, films, or movies are films, movies, TV shows, things like that. People automatically jump, the internet automatically jumps to the conclusion that there's going to be a Space Jam 2. I saw Space Jam 2 trending nationwide on Twitter about 4 hours ago. And the reason is because last year, Warner Brothers, in 2014, trademarked Space Jam 2. So now that we know that Warner Brothers has the Space Jam 2 trademark, and Warner Brothers has now signed this deal with LeBron, and LeBron, we all know, wants to be Jordan. Yeah, I just said that myself. The articles didn't say that. Space Jam 2 starring LeBron James.
How excited you are about this.
Space Jam was my childhood. That was the first album I owned that was a CD and not a cassette tape. I Believe I Can Fly. R. Kelly before he was a bad guy.
I hate this thing sometimes. So let me go right down here. So here's his tweet.
You're making our screen look very ugly.
Yeah. I'm going to make it look uglier in a minute. So here's his tweet. Let's go. So excited. Warner Brothers X Spring Hill and Space Jam 2.
So Warner Brothers and Spring Hill Entertainment. That Spring Hill Entertainment is his deal. What?
I'm looking for where it says Space Jam.
It doesn't. It's all internet speculation. That's why the title says Possibility of Space Jam 2 ? In the title. I do not mislead people saying there is a Space Jam 2. I'm saying that the internet is abuzz that there is a possibility of Space Jam 2 because of the information I have just given you.
Okay.
One, that they trademarked Space Jam 2 a year ago. And two, that LeBron has just signed with Warner Brothers, and everyone knows Warner Brothers meets Space Jam because Warner Brothers is the Bugs Bunny, that whole franchise. Hey, dude, is LeBron gonna be in Space Jam 2?
Yes.
See? Jude said it.
He wants to advance his movie career, yes.
Jude says he wants to advance his movie career. Jude and LeBron are both from Ohio. Jude's obviously an insider. Duh.
That is amazing journalistic research there. You heard it, Jude LaCava. Okay, so now I'm going to take it back to what I found the
tech part of
coolest thing. Okay, here's
why
the tech
Jeff is up here for this.
Yes, other than to hear her go on for another 20 minutes about this. But will Lola Bunny be in it? One hopes so. It'll be interesting to see if they've aged. You know, I guess they don't, right? Bugs Bunny's like, what, 70 years old or something like that?
It's like Maggie Simpson. She'll forever be like 1.5 or 8 months.
So the thing that I knew that I could contribute to this, and I guess maybe one of the reasons I'm not as excited about this is I'm actually in sort of a competition. Because, you know, there's another basketball remake. I'm going to be in White Man Can't Jump too. But I'm dumb. But Warner Brothers, in one of the cooler bits of weird nostalgia.
This is amazing.
This is pretty freaking amazing. I've known about this for a while, and I just love the fact that this is even there. The original Space Jam website from 1996.
It's spacejam.com?
No, you got to go to Warner. It's archived. I don't know what's at spacejam.com. That would be a curious question. Let me just look at that real quick.
Hopefully it's something appropriate.
Yeah, I should. I'll be really quick. Yeah.
And I'll be ready to switch tabs. Oh no.
So it goes to a more modern version of like gallery.
This is a 2003 website.
Yeah, it's a little better, but not much. But the gold right here, if you search for Space Jam, goes to Warner Brothers site. I mean,
this is a website. This is internet from 1996. Do you remember when everything was just in really generic Times New Roman font?
Yeah, and then
I wish it was Throwback Thursday today.
This is some like Netscape Navigator type action here. I'm going to see if I can redo it just because, again, the formatting on this thing is so horrible.
Navigator, oh my gosh. Words I haven't heard in ages.
Right, okay, so let's see here. Boom. So then you've got Planet B-Ball, where you can go
can we play?
Player bios. Does it work?
I don't know. Hit shooting hoops. Oh my gosh. This reminds me of some of the NSYNC fan websites that I used to visit as a child. Also, maybe Kinsey ran it.
Check out other cool. This doesn't work. Looks like maybe not everything's working anymore. Although you got to figure if it's been 20 years?
Almost 20 years.
Wow. Jam Central. Oh, is the trailer?
The jammiest 2 minutes of trailer time that ever hit a theater. I mean, I don't think there's
one. We're not going to play it, don't ask.
I don't think there's one website out there that uses terms like jammiest anymore, first of all. Secondly, just uses this font and this style of a website. Do you remember like this? What are those side tab things even called? Were they like? Do you remember that?
Yeah.
Though?
Oh no, I do. I designed sites that had this stuff. Side navs.
Sorry, I need to look at it this way because you guys are.
There are a lot.
Look at those things on the side.
Fewer options available.
The left-hand scroll thing.
The lineup. Okay. Cast bios.
Oh my gosh, it's just the font is making me cringe. And
I like these backgrounds. We should like totally make this. Michael Jordan, who appears as himself, makes his motion picture feature debut with Space Jam. Oh, wait, I gotta use my Mr. Movie phone voice. Widely considered the greatest basketball player in history after LeBron James, he has parlayed an incredible college and professional career with North Carolina Tar Heels.
Take that back. Take that back. Michael Jordan has 6 rings. LeBron has 2. Until
Jordan's
LeBron
list of
has
basketball.
7.
Mr. Movie Phone's working.
Mr. Movie Phone has his facts wrong, and he should get fired for giving the public misleading information.
Somebody got her Jets shot there. So
look, it's my job to give accurate information on this show.
Is it?
Yes.
Okay.
It is my job.
Okay, so
2 + 2 is 4.
Well done. Anyway, so check it out. Space Jam. So the taking it serious here. Space Jam's 2. Rumors are flying. not confirmed. You know, it's the way the things seem to be going in the wind, but we'll wait and see. But in the meantime, you can entertain yourself by going to this archaic website and clicking around. Your eyes might bleed a little bit from some of these backgrounds and some of that business. But, it looks like a few people in the chat room did not care for my editorial remarks.
Right, exactly. Exactly.
I like this one too. Bugs Bunny, as himself, received an Academy Award for his work in the 1958 theatrical short Nighty Night Bugs and has been nominated for Oscars 3 more times. He is the star of more than 175 animated shorts, has starred in 4 full-length television specials and 14 CBS primetime specials. An American icon, Bugs Bunny serves as a constant reminder that to survive in today's world, one has to be shrewd and cool while under stress. In short, Bugs is the superstar of the Looney Tunes family, an appropriate match for his superstar and co-star, LeBron James.
Stop it! It says Michael Jordan, guys. Can I just make this clear? It says Michael.
Oh, Wayne Knight was in that? Michael Wayne Knight? Newman? Who else was in this? I haven't seen it in a long time.
We should have a
Scroll
Space
down.
Jam viewing party. Oh, Juanita
Randall,
Jordan.
Danny DeVito. I kind of remember him being in it.
That's it. And obviously
What?
various
There's
Looney
like Daffy and all the
Tunes.
others in there? Ugh.
Okay.
Okay, anyway.
On that
sorry.
note, Jeff, enough blasphemy. Why am I still up here? It's 4:41.
Okay, what do you need next?
Kinsey.
Kinsey. All right, well, thank you for having me up. Don't let your vehicles get hacked. Stay safe out there.
Stay
Keep your
safe.
eyes on the road.
And visit this website.
Visit this website. Get excited. Start board the hype train for Space Jams 2.
All right, Jeff, on that note, it's time that we show them the 10-day forecast. You guys will be joined by Kinsey Schofield in a few seconds.
Hi all, Kinsey Schofield here, and I see Alan West on the screen right now, so let's head over and see what he is discussing. This might be, well, I'm going to confirm before I say, but I know I recognize Alan B. West, former United States Representative, currently speaking somewhere in the country, so I'm going to give you that, and I'm going to find out more information, and you will see that in the lower third.
And it's more important to come up here and take in a play than go to Chattanooga, Tennessee, and lower the flag half-mast over the White House. It's very simple, ladies and gentlemen. Alexander the Great had a fantastic quote, and he said, "I would not fear an army of lions if they were led by sheep, but I would fear an army of sheep if they were to be led by a lion." This great nation is a nation of lions that is currently being led by the greatest of sheep that we have ever seen in our 239 years of existence. How dare Barack Obama, how dare John Kerry, how dare Valerie Jarrett, or any of these other charlatans that occupy Washington, D.C., surrender this great constitutional republic to the Republic of Iran. Ladies and gentlemen, It was said in December 1775 by Thomas Paine that these are the times that try men's souls, that the sunshine patriot and the summer soldier will shrink from his duties. But to those who will make a stand, those of you that are here in Times Square, you will deserve the love and admiration of all men and women. Ladies and gentlemen, it's not over. You being here sends a message that the United States of America, I don't care who is occupying the White House, we're not surrendering our liberty, our freedom, our way of life. I want President Barack Obama to know one thing. You may say that you have done something that no one else has ever done. You know why no one else has ever done it? Because it's a damn stupid thing that you just did. And if people are upset because of what I'm saying, I really don't care. Because I had a father that stood in World War II. I had an older brother that stood and was wounded at KSAZ. I gave 22 years of my life to make sure that that great beacon of liberty, freedom, and democracy continues to stand. And I have a nephew, I have friends that are still serving on the front lines. And my commitment is to the oath that I took on 31 July 1982 to support and defend the Constitution of the United States of America against all enemies, foreign and domestic, and to bear true faith and allegiance to the same. It's not to anybody's historic event. It's not for anyone to have some special exhibit in their presidential library. It's to make sure that the enemies of America and the enemies of Israel are crushed and brought to their knees. God bless you all. God bless America. God bless Israel. Thank you.
How sad it is when you hear something like that and remember who's sitting at 1600 Pennsylvania Avenue. How sad it is. But we're going to win. We're going to win. We're going to defeat this if every one of you doesn't say, well, I love my congressman, my congresswoman, he's such a nice person, he's very nice, he has a nice office staff, they're wonderful people. You better know that you say to them, you go to their office, you call their office, and you say, Steve Israel, Chuck Schumer, Nita Lowey, all of you, you will stand up for my rights and my children's rights to live, and you will tell your colleagues to join you in killing this deal. Ladies and gentlemen, I want you to give a special welcome to a man who made a great effort to be with us. He was a career Navy man for nearly 4 decades. He's the former Commander-in-Chief of the United States Pacific Fleet, the largest military command on the face of the earth, Admiral James Ace Lyons.
Well, thank you very much. I gotta say, by your presence here tonight, you said it all. You understand, Houston, we have a problem. I have to tell you, never in my lifetime did I believe I would witness this great country of ours being taken down and withdrawn from our world leadership by our own administration. Unbelievable. And when it comes to Iran, I've been chasing those guys for years. I had the planes loaded many times. I was going to wipe out the Islamic Amal, the Hezbollah, and at times I thought we could take down the whole Khomeini regime. But as you know, we had many opportunities to change the course of history when it comes to Iran. But it didn't matter whether it was a Republican or Democratic administration, they all failed. And they failed because we were sabotaged from within. And this agreement is another example of sabotage within. It is a total sellout. Of course, that doesn't bother the likes of Secretary Kerry, because this is the second time he sold out his country. And Obama, this is his Neville Chamberlain peace on our time moment. Ridiculous. Now, we don't have an agreement. What we have are terms of. We guarantee Iran will have a nuclear weapon capability, and just as important, we guarantee they will have the most modern conventional weapons which could jeopardize our position in the Persian Gulf. Now, I've always said these negotiations are a sham. And I want to take you back to when President Obama was candidate Obama in the summer of 2008. And according to Michael, he opened up a secret communication channel to the evil Khomeini regime. And that secret channel
And as you can see, we're having some technical difficulties. We are frozen on the screen. Hopefully our satellites will catch up. A lot of confusion in the chat room, though, regarding the event and the objective.
I am your friend. Unbelievable. Here's a country that's been at war with the United States for over 35 years, the world's sponsor of state-sponsored terrorism. They've caused the loss of lives of thousands. And for you New Yorkers, you never should forget that it was Iran who provided the key material and training support to the 9/11 hijackers. Without that support, that terrorist attack couldn't have been carried out, and 3,000 innocent Americans who were doing nothing more than going to work would be alive today. Unbelievable. Now, I've got to touch a little bit on the concessions. You all know about the concessions, and they all pale in comparison to one key concession, which is sacred and goes to the heart and soul of every American. This traitorous group traded our national honor. Yes, this group conceded America's honor. It cannot be allowed to stand. They humiliated this great nation before our friends, our allies, and most importantly, our enemies. This surrender document must be thoroughly rejected by Congress. And then Congress must exercise its authority, start impeaching executive officials, starting with Secretary Kerry and following President Obama for his illegal and unconstitutional acts. I have to tell you one thing. There's only one sure way to prevent Iran from getting a nuclear weapon capability. With a military strike, and you can take that to the bank. It's great to be with you. God bless America.
Ladies and gentlemen, we want to thank the Jewish Broadcasting Service, which is televising this rally for people throughout America. The rally will be seen tomorrow night at 7 and again Sunday afternoon at 1. We also want to thank, I can't remember everyone, Dr. Paul Brody, who did so much for this rally, so many others. We want to thank the famous Dr. Marvin Belsky. Ladies and gentlemen, Claire, brilliant woman, the Vice President for Research and Policy for Security Policy, a senior fellow at the London Center for Policy, so many other credentials. Please welcome Operative Claire Lopez.
Thank you so much. Thanks to all of you coming out here tonight. It is here to show your opposition to this dastardly deal. Almost 14 years, not very far from where we stand here tonight, and at the stand on a plane full of heroes over Pennsylvania. America was attacked by Islamic jihadist enemies. As you just heard Ace Lyons talk about, the authors of that attack were not just Al-Qaeda. About 10 years after the attack, December 2011, Judge George Daniels, Southern District of New York, right here in Manhattan, issued a ruling. He said Iran is co-responsible, jointly responsible with Al-Qaeda and with Hezbollah for the attacks of 9/11. You didn't hear about that much, did you? Go to www.iran911.com. Iran was never held responsible for those attacks, and nor was it held responsible for any of the others perpetrated against Americans, Israelis, and so many others over the years since that time. From the Marine Corps barracks bombings and the U.S. Embassy bombings in Beirut in 1983, all the way to the thousands of brave American troops maimed and killed by explosives in Iraq that came from Iran. Leadership knew where they came from and they didn't say a word. Is it any wonder that this Iranian regime feels itself invulnerable, untouchable? And so last Saturday, you had the supreme leader of Iran, the Ayatollah Ali Khamenei, in a speech telling how his and his regime's hatred and enmity for the United States and for Israel is eternal and would last forever. And just in case we didn't all get the message, his left hand gripped the barrel of a gun, an automatic weapon at his side by the podium. They were not held accountable. They still haven't been. That is not possible. That could not have happened except for an American leadership that is all too willing to abandon our friends, empower our enemies, and open the door to Armageddon with this nuclear deal with Iran. And so Iran gets to keep its entire nuclear weapons infrastructure. It gets to keep all its centrifuges. It gets to keep all of its enriched uranium. It gets $150 or so billion as a signing bonus, so it can spend it on its terror proxies like Hezbollah. It gets to keep its plutonium-producing facility at Arak, the one that was supposed to be closed down. And oh, by the way, not only is Arak not going to be closed down, we're going to help pay to modernize it. Iran also gets to keep secret any of its facilities open up to investigation or inspectors. If it says they're off limits, they're off limits. This is the deal that has been struck with Iran. Iran also gets to keep its secret sites. It the inspector. We've just to this deal. And those deals have to do with a place called Parchin, where Iran was testing its explosives for its nuclear. About the possible military dimensions of Iran's nuclear weapons programs. These two side deals not going to be shared with Congress, not going to be shared with the American people or anybody else. They get to keep that all secret. The last thing that Iran gets to keep, they're keeping 4 American citizens hostage. I want to say their names. Christian pastor Saeed Abedini, former Marine Amir Hekmati, the Washington Post Tehran bureau chief Jason Rezaian, and former FBI agent Robert Levinson. Until these hostages are set free, we should not be having one word of negotiations with this Iranian regime. I'll leave you with a quote from Thomas Jefferson. He said, "If a nation expects to live with ignorance and freedom in a civilized state, what it expects has never been and never will be." Deal is bad for Israel. It is bad for the world. It is bad for America. We must stop this deal. Thank you.
I want to recognize a great human rights scholar, President of Human Rights Voices, Ann Bayevsky. Rabbi Shmuley Boteach is with us. Rabbi Shlosh and Rabbi Joe Potasnik of the New York Board of Rabbis. I want to make sure from earlier when we all discussed this matter that you understand that if Senator Schumer wants to kill the deal, he will be a great American hero. Because we know if he tells your senators, Blumenthal, Booker, Gillibrand, by the way, has anyone seen Kirsten Gillibrand in the last year? I don't even know what the heck happened to her. She seems to have disappeared altogether. It's like we only have one senator. But if Senator Schumer wants to kill this deal, he will stand up and give the following speech. He will say, "Ladies and gentlemen, I have decided that my greatest yearning was to be the Democratic leader of this House. But before that, I must vote my conscience. And I demand of you what you demanded of me. I sided with you on so many important issues, like apartheid and civil rights and farm bills. And I want you to kill this deal. Because if you don't kill this deal, Senator Schumer, how many of you vow to kill Schumer's career?" Kill the deal or kill your career. Kill the deal or kill your career. Kill your deal or kill the career. Ladies and gentlemen, we're privileged to have a great military analyst on television and radio, guest lecturer on national security, international political and economic issues, strategic planning, and the global war against radical Islam and other threats to America. Give a warm welcome to former Major General Paul Vallely.
Wow, ladies and gentlemen, listen, I guess they saved the best speakers for last. That's the only thing I can tell you, but we've got a few more after myself, but what a crowd here today. I'm proud of you for standing up for America and taking the time to listen. You know, there are moments in history that have changed the events of the world, and if you study history, you can go through all of those. This is a game-changing experience. This is a game changer, what's happening right now. I can tell you I've been into the Middle East 5 times in the last 2.5 years. I led a covert operation into Syria with 400 men, and you can see it on YouTube at 73. And I'll tell you, people, a warrior will fall on his sword for you and you and you. I will fall on my sword for my grandson and my daughter. That's what warriors do. General MacArthur said there's no substitute for victory. And we need victory in this country again. We need warriors to take charge and lead us to victory. And when we have a threat, you can count on our military in the end that are going to provide the security to America that we need. I am tired of the deception. I'm tired of the lies that come out of the White House and our government. I can tell you by being in the Middle East, having met with General el-Sisi last year from Egypt, he says, why does America always look through the political prism when they make decisions? Why can't they look through the reality prism? And that's very important. The first time I went into the Middle East, I parachuted in at 5:30 in the morning. And like my good friend Alan West, I'm an Army paratrooper, I'm a Ranger, I'm an individual that will fight for you to the end. God bless all of you. We love you, but let's stick together, stand up, and kill this deal. Thank you.
Thank you, General. Ladies and gentlemen, I have something in common with our next speaker, one of the major sponsors of this rally. Let me just say to you that when I was a volunteer for the presidential campaign of the late, great Senator Henry Scoop Jackson, one of those last great Democrats, along with Pat Moynihan and Ed Koch, there was Frank Gaffney, who was then a senior aide to Senator Jackson. He's the founder and president of the Center for Security Policy. This is an institution that researches and protects Americans for so many threats that could possibly affect us. Please welcome Frank Gaffney.
Thank you. Thank you for being here in our, I believe, 3rd hour of this event. God bless you all, and God bless our country. I'm going to make 3 points quickly. The President came to office pledging that he would fundamentally transform America. Do you remember that? I think we can all agree he's doing it. But with this deal, ladies and gentlemen, what President Obama is doing is fundamentally transforming the world. He is fundamentally transforming the world, most especially by making as an ally an enemy of the First Order. He is transforming Iran by legitimating its regime, by funding its nuclear program, by protecting its nuclear program, and in short, both through nuclear and conventional weapons, arming our enemy, the Islamic Republic of Iran. He is doing so, of course, explicitly by replacing our long-standing alliance with Israel. Another fundamental and enormously dangerous transformation. The second major point I want to leave you with, many of our previous speakers have spoken to this question. The arming, the funding, the enabling of the Iranian nuclear program, and so much more. Think about this, folks. In addition to the $750 million that has been given to the Iranians just for staying at the negotiating table every single month. The president is, as you've heard, giving them another $150 billion. On top of that, it's estimated that the value of the business investments and the sale of oil will translate into $600 billion. But just to give you a sense of what the $150 billion all by itself would represent, the equivalent in our much larger economy would be a windfall of $8 trillion. $8 trillion. Think of what can be done by an enemy of our country with all that money. Finally, what you need to know, ladies and gentlemen, is all of this talk about the Iranians posing a threat not just to Israel, not just to our other friends such as they are and allies such as they are in the Middle East or in Europe, but to the United States of America. Let me give you just one very important fact. The Iranians are one nuclear weapon away from having all they need to destroy the electric grid of the United States, and by so doing, to bring about not only death to America, but truly a world without America. They are deadly serious about this purpose. They are pursuing it relentlessly, and they couldn't be more clear with us. That's what they have in mind. So when you are told, ladies and gentlemen, that there's no alternative to this deal but war, let me give you three specific alternatives that we should have very much in mind. First, we are at war with Iran already. As Carolyn Glick said, we don't even acknowledge it, but it's so, and they are pursuing it relentlessly. The difference, the alternative, Mr. President, is that it will not be a nuclear war if we stop Iran from getting the bomb instead of enabling it from doing so. The alternative, Mr. President, is no nuclear cascade, as every nation in the region pursues its own nuclear weapons. The alternative, Mr. President, is not a situation in which we wind up enhancing but also protecting the Iranian nuclear program. These are all three things that we have as a distinct alternative. We must pursue them. Let me leave you with a last but very provocative thought. What you've heard here today, what you will find out more about in the coming month, please God, is that what is being done to our country is a betrayal. This is not only a violation of President Obama's oath of office. It is not only of a piece with the rest of what he's been doing to shred our Constitution. It is, ladies and gentlemen, treason. Treason! It must not stand. We must kill this deal. God bless you. Help us do it. Thank you.
Thank you, Frank. And now, ladies and gentlemen, a very special human being. Qasim Hafiz is a British citizen of Pakistani Muslim heritage who grew up exposed to radical anti-Western, anti-Semitic, and anti-Israel ideas on a daily basis. He embraced a radical Islamist ideology and became active in the anti-Israel movement. Alan Dershowitz's book, The Case for Israel, challenged his fundamental beliefs and caused him to undertake a period of research and reflection, which actually led him to Israel in 2007. Having witnessed the true nature of the Jewish state, he changed his perception of Israel, and he felt a moral obligation to publicly speak out for Israel and against the dangers of radical Islam. Welcome, Qasim Hafiz.
Okay, so heard, I was a Muslim extremist, and at my very height, my focus, my obsession was with harming Israel and America. Let me just point out, I'm not an extremist anymore. Before everybody, we have a mass exodus. Look, why is that significant? What has that got to do with the Iran deal? My extremism, when it was at its height, 3 years. 3 years I was exposed to the most radical and extreme propaganda. And within those 3 years, I was determined. After those 3 years of being obsessed with this radical Islamism, I knew that I wanted to commit an act of terrorism. I wanted to harm innocent Americans and innocent Israelis. Just 3 years. And I was born in Britain. I lived my whole life in Britain. But 3 years of incitement of this propaganda made me so angry that that's what I wanted to do. Today, Iran, for decades, has been promoting the most extreme incitement, the most extreme hatred. Every day we hear in Tehran, death to Israel, death to America, and this deal is on the verge of giving them the most deadliest weapon. How does that make any rational sense? How have we gone from a situation where we had every option was on the table to giving Iran the table and the chairs and going, it's okay? How have we gone from a situation where, look, I'm British, as you can tell from my accent, where the French, when the French, no offense to the French, God bless them, but they're not exactly known for being the most hawkish and up for a fight. When the French are going, we've got reservations about this, hold on, America. I mean, how have we got to that point?
Microphone closer.
Okay, sorry. So how have we got to that point? This is a bad deal. You've heard that over and over again. The sad thing is today, we have people who are telling us the alternative to this deal is war. That is not the truth. The truth is the alternative to this deal is a good deal. Calling this deal in itself is insane. A deal which allows the biggest state sponsor of terrorism to gain nuclear weapons. Under our watch, with our blessing, with us securing their nuclear facilities. How does that make any sense? What sort of upside down world are we living in today? So, I'm going to ask you this one favor. As a Brit, as somebody from Britain, who is very fond of America, very fond of the state of Israel, very fond of democracy and freedom everywhere, when the Ayatollahs in Iran, when they chant death to America, they don't distinguish between Republicans and Democrats. They don't distinguish between conservatives and liberals. They say death to America. This is a bipartisan issue. This is an issue for all Americans. This is an issue for the whole world. I don't vote in America because I'm not an American citizen, but I implore you, the President of the United States, the Secretary of State do not have the right to jeopardize the freedom and security of the whole world. Because you have people who are saying, well, look, okay, if Iran gets nuclear weapons, how is it going to harm America? They don't have intercontinental ballistic missiles. Yet they don't. Are we already forgetting this week we commemorated the Armia bombing in Buenos Aires, which Iran was directly implicated in? Murdering Jews in Argentina. Iran is, and I'm reiterating the same fact, the world's biggest state sponsor of terrorism. And I'm telling you this from a personal point of view, from somebody who was an Islamic fundamentalist, a radical and extreme who wanted to kill people based on a delusional ideology. When they tell you they want to kill you, they mean it. You have a responsibility. You have a responsibility to yourselves, to your grandchildren, to history, because we don't want to be a generation who look back and go, we let this happen on our watch. For those people who are going, it's too late. For those people who are saying there's nothing we can do, the Israeli national anthem has a line in it. All hope is not lost. Od lo avda tikvotenu. All hope is not lost. We can change this. We can make enough noise. Every single person here tonight is sending a clear message. And let them hear it in Congress. Let them hear it in the White House. We do not support this deal. We will not remain silent. God bless America. I'm Israel Chai. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. We want to thank Laura Cardoza Moore, representing Proclaiming Justice to the Nations, all the way from Nashville, Tennessee. She's here with us. And now please welcome a great American actor. You know him from The French Connection, from the one-man show LaGuardia. Great supporting actor, great actor in his own right, Tony LoBianco.
Thank you so much. Can you imagine, after all you've heard tonight about the situation, that we would negotiate with these terrorists, these enemies of the world? Ladies and gentlemen, the furor over the Iranian nuclear agreement is a tragedy not only for this country and Israel, but for the entire world. This is not a Democrat or Republican issue. This is a nonpartisan issue. This agreement will start a nuclear race in the Middle East. Iran's Arab neighbors and Turkey will likely decide they need enriching their own uranium. And just figure out how much that is going to cost us to persuade them not to do so. Our purpose for the negotiations was to make sure that Iran never had the possibility of making a nuclear weapon of mass destruction. This agreement, even if it was adhered to by Iran, which history has shown they break every contract, is temporary. Eventually, the freeze of uranium will go away, and they will use that uranium to build a nuclear bomb. At the signing of the Iranian nuclear deal, the people of Iran were dancing in the streets, shouting death to America, death to Israel, in celebration of their victory. It was condoned by and agreed to by the Ayatollah, who stated that Iran will never change their intentions. Do we have a better teacher than history? In 1979, the Iranians took over the U.S. Embassy, holding 52 hostages for 444 days. They did not release them until January 20th, 1981, the day Ronald Reagan took office as President of the United States. And since then, we have been living year after year under attack by radical Islamic terrorists, and this is an undeclared war. So why are we here today? Because we know that something is terribly wrong. It has been our policy not to negotiate with terrorists. So in March, this administration took Iran and Hezbollah off the terrorist list so they can negotiate with them. But as you know, a rose by any other name is still a rose. And what brought Iran to talks? The sanctions. So instead of increasing the sanctions, putting Iran in a weakened negotiating posture, this administration removed the sanctions and paid them millions of American dollars to sit down and talk with them. Do you believe that negotiating with a position of weakness is good for America? As the talks continue going nowhere, we kept releasing funds and assisting to Iran. Each time they got up from the table, we gave them billions of dollars. And at the end, over $140 billion was released to the Ayatollah. Yes, okay. Well, ladies and gentlemen, you have heard all what you had to hear tonight from so many people. I am just going to say, please, make sure that you contact your congressmen, your senators, and make them understand that that this deal is death to America. Please email, write, or call your congressman today and urge them to vote no to this deal for the sake of our children, your children, and the future of America. Let your voice be heard. This Iranian nuclear agreement does not protect the American people or the world. Thank you very much.
All right, listen, ladies and gentlemen. The police were gracious enough to extend us to 8:30. Our permit originally was to 7:30. So since we only have about 6 minutes left, we're inviting up our last three speakers in tandem to each speak for 2 minutes. We're really sorry for this, but some people went on overtime. There's little we could do about it. Our last three speakers are Richard Kemp. Now, this is a man who speaks truth to power. He has spent his whole life, most of his life, fighting terrorism and insurgency. He's a writer, a prolific journalist, media commentator. We're going to hear from the great Richard Kemp. We're going to hear from David Bragg, representing Christians United for Israel, which you know is led by the great Pastor Hagee in San Antonio. And finally, Genevieve Woods, who is a scholar at the Heritage Foundation. Let's welcome Richard, David, and Genevieve.
God bless the United States of America. God bless the one and only Jewish state of Israel. And God stop the Islamic Ayatollahs of Iran. Ladies and gentlemen, I have fought around the world in the British Army alongside our brave American allies, including in Iraq and Afghanistan, where the Iranians have killed over 1,000 Americans in the last 10 years. The Iranians also are responsible for the conflict in Gaza last summer and the two previous conflicts between Hamas and Israel, which caused thousands and thousands of casualties. Ladies and gentlemen, this deal not only makes the likelihood of Iran becoming a nuclear state far greater. Unless stopped, Iran will develop a nuclear bomb, and Iran will use that nuclear bomb. This agreement makes war more likely. It does not do what your president says and make it less likely. Ladies and gentlemen, go to your congressmen, go to your elected representatives. Do not give them any rest. For the sake of your children, for the sake of your grandchildren, who are being endowed this legacy of greater war, give your congressmen no rest until they agree to vote against this travesty of a deal.
Thank you, everyone, for staying this long and this late. More than your numbers, your patience speaks volumes. God bless you. I am going to cut right to my conclusion. After World War I, a lot of observers of Britain and European civilization realized that something was changing and changing for the worst. That war took 6,000 lives on average every day. And it was a war that lasted for over 1,500 days. You better believe people were tired of war. But in their being tired of war, they failed to recognize and respond to the threats emerging around them. And as they turned aside their gaze, as they ignored, as they put their heads in the sand, an Englishman named Winston Churchill looked on helplessly and said, "You have a choice between dishonor and war. You've chosen dishonor, and you shall have war." Another man, looking at the wreck of European civilization, the loss of European will, wrote a poem called The Hollow Men. And the poem reminds me of nothing so much as those who claim to be leading us today. They are hollow men. They are empty suits. And he closes this poem with lines that are the most famous lines in American poetry. Lines I never understood until this moment. This is the end of the song, The Hollow Men. The poem, The Hollow Men, about hollow leaders, ends with these words. This is the way the world ends. This is the way the world ends. This is the way the world ends. Not with a bang, but with a whimper. Ladies and gentlemen, it's not too late. There's still time. Do not let the world end with this whimper from our President and Secretary of State. Make sure Congress speaks up. Be bold, be brave, be loud. It's not too late. God bless you.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. I'm Genevieve Wood of the Heritage Foundation. We are based in Washington, D.C. on Capitol Hill. We spend day in, day out making sure members of Congress, your elected officials, know what's going on and know what's wrong with this deal. But you very well know that most politicians, including Chuck Schumer and all those that have been named here tonight, rarely see the light until they feel the heat. Ladies and gentlemen, you are that heat. Nothing scares a politician more than an informed electorate. People who know what's going on, and you all know what is going on. You know this deal is bad. You know this is going to put more pockets into the money of the Iranian regime to give to their terrorist friends like Hamas and Hezbollah. You know that this is going to let Iran continue to build their ballistic missile program. You know all that. You all have heard from Washington tonight. But now I want to end by giving you a chance to talk back to Washington. So I'm going to record you here. And I'm going to take this back to Washington, and my colleagues are going to take it to Capitol Hill. And they are going to play it for all of those who pretend they don't know why this is a bad deal for America and a bad deal for the world. So on the count of 3, I want to hear you chanting, "Kill this deal." I want to see your signs up, and I'm going to take it out. 1, 2, 3.
Thank you, NYPD. May God bless you and keep you. And listen, you all know what to do. Good night.
Shut down PA, shut down PA.
Despite the complaints in the chat room in regards to the content, which I do see, I did stay on an additional 30 minutes for my friends. So I did think that was, I love to see live content all over the world. That was actually happening in Times Square right now. So whether you agree or disagree with what's being said, isn't it interesting to see what's happening in New York City right now? They said that Thousands of people were expected to be at that event, so I'm interested in seeing if that was the actual turnout. I'll find that out for you. But I am going to take a break. I'm sorry, I was talking to a coworker. That's why I had the mic silenced. But I'm going to go ahead and take the break until the 6:30 broadcast. I have some really great video of Jude LaCava for you. It's going to make you laugh out loud. He's crazy. I'll have Troy Hayden on, although he did threaten to not go on since he sat down and saw me. He was like, well, Kinsey, I've already done my news now for the day, so I won't sit down with you. Guess what? I'm going to make it happen, even if I have to steal all of his pens. And then I had to, Steve Kraft gave me an exclusive video that I think you'll really like from KTAR. It's Steve Kraft actually being interviewed. He's the celebrity. So we'll watch that. 6:30 broadcast. Come back to me. I'll see you in less than an hour.